like a live band in the studio.
This is it.
I love that for
This is it.
Morning, people. Happy new week. It is the 10th of March. It's Monday, the 10th of March. Welcome to TDA, the day after, your favorite news platform and the home of popular culture as defined by the culture. And as always, I am one of your hosts for today, Martin Royalty.
Good morning, Vietnam.
Brent is the other host for today.
I am the other host for today. Let's see. Let me just go through the roll call. Good morning, 9 Ether, DCF Mooks, Energy, Davina, Bex, Imi Snow Globe. Who else have we got? Mr. Ashlows, Natty, Catherine, Ghana Greatness, Dr. Amani, G's, 16, Marlene, TT, Akuya, Austin, Sarah, Izzy Bambino, Stacy, Oyen B. Good morning, everybody. I hope you all had a fantastic weekend. Good morning, Charles Mack. All right, cool. How was your weekend, Esther?
How was my weekend? On Friday, I saw Issa Rae's movie, One of Them Days, starring Cesar and Kiki Palmer.
So every time you say Scissor, that's how you say it?
I've got a friend that says that and it just makes me laugh.
Scissor!
Because when she told me, I couldn't believe it, and it's just brilliant, actually.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, Cesar.
Funny enough.
It just makes sense.
Yeah.
It was really good. I really liked it. It's like a feel-good, just happy movie. It was nice. Yeah, I liked it.
Out
I
of
highly
10?
recommend. Huh?
Out of 10, what are you saying?
Out of 10, I give it an 8.
That's a high number.
That is a high
Esther, but
number.
the enthusiasm in your voice when you were saying it's a good movie wasn't matching that.
Yeah, I don't have enthusiasm today.
You're tired?
I'm not even tired. I'm just,
Just fed up. Just meh.
Just meh.
Meh.
Meh is the vibe.
Yeah, I get them days sometimes.
Yeah.
Don't communicate it to people though.
That's, do you know what I mean? I have to present a show.
I'll keep my meh to myself.
I have to present a show. So, here we are. So that was nice. Last week, I forgot to talk about it. I watched Bridget Jones. Is a Bridget Jones movie out at the moment?
Bridget Jones.
I love rom-com. Like, rom-coms is my bag.
Yeah.
Rom-coms, sitcoms, I love it. Right. I don't know if I'm on the rom-com vibe anymore.
Serious?
Yeah, because there's another film. It's a Nigerian one. It's a Nigerian film. And I was going to watch it yesterday. I tried to watch it yesterday. I was like an hour in. To be fair, I was doing my hair and stuff, so it was just in the background. And I stopped. I said, this is... And the thing with rom-coms is that it's very feel-good. It's like a fantasy life, right? But the characters are irritating me, man. I don't know what it is. Because even the Bridget Jones one, I was in the cinema, I was so annoyed. I mean, ticket was free, to be fair, but I just thought...
Why was the ticket free? Have you got membership or something?
No, my health insurance gives me a free cinema ticket every month if I score the points, the active points. But I score them in like 2 weeks.
How do you score the points?
From like just gym and stuff like that. So like your steps, going to the gym. So I go to a gym that's actually one of their partners anyway, so I get a good discount. Our gym is expensive.
How much is your gym? Somebody exclaimed when I told them yesterday I'm looking for a gym near Liverpool Street.
Yeah.
And I told them also because I remember the conversation. I told them also that the e-bikes all over.
Yeah.
And I said I saw one that is 10 minutes free. Like for the first 10 minutes free.
So you need the 10 minutes within radius.
I just need the gym.
Within a 10-minute radius.
And it looks like a slapped up bike.
I hear it.
Right. I will get my Jody bottle and ride right back.
That's funny.
But
I hear it.
Yeah. And then they're telling me, what was they saying? Should I look to get you a membership at Soho House? I said, how did you jump today? I don't want to.
Is there a gym in Soho House?
But I didn't know that. As now they told me.
Oh, there is a gym in
there.
there. Okay, I didn't know that.
I said, but why would I don't understand. I mean,
that's the worst place for you to be.
That sounds like it's a lot of money too.
It's a lot of money, but I think more than the money, I feel like more importantly for you is it's a lot of like people.
I was like,
A
why
lot of
do you
people.
think I
And it's
want
not
to
like
place
people
myself?
just there. It's
not-
people talking to me.
God damn it. So
Yeah, it's a
why
lot
I
of
want to
socializing.
place myself in
It's
that
a lot of
position.
socializing.
And then
You lose your marbles after the first session.
and then I'm like, all right, other than that, in my head that would be, why am I paying that much money a year to go to the gym? Like
That's crazy.
it's absolutely crazy.
Do you know what? It's a gym that's inconveniencing you.
And then this person said, wait, how much do you pay for your gym? I said, like, what, £27 a month? He's like, what? What? I
To
said,
fair.
I said, yeah, what else am I doing? Oh,
Fair.
you're there talking about all the other trappings. I'm not going for spa,
spa or
and
something like
swimming.
that.
No.
To be fair though, that is one thing I need to start. I'm so annoyed by it because I need to every Friday. I need to start going to the spa at my gym
Oh, you're
I've been
utilizing
paying.
your stuff.
I've been paying because my
Not
last
me.
gym. I just changed gym, so my last gym is what had a spa as well, but I didn't use it. But to be fair, when I was in my old neighborhood, my house burnt down and whatnot, I did use the spa once in a while
Yeah.
because I just found it nicer. But the new area I moved to, I just found it very icky and it was just nasty, and I just had to go catch something in there. Respectfully.
Question, when
But my new one is nice though. I just need to use it.
How much is the new one? How much is your old one?
So my old one was £60, I think. And that was with a discount, my mum's corporate discount. My new one, I get 50% off with my health insurance. £81.
God damn it. This is after the discount.
After discount.
God
Brent.
damn
The
it.
maddest thing is that I was even irritated because when I inquired about it, it was like 75
Yeah.
with the discounts. I thought, okay, fair.
And then
Then I went to Lagos, came back, they're talking about, oh, we put the prices up for the new year. I said, £81.
And you're utilizing all of its benefits, yes?
Except the spa. But basically, my gym also has like a creche. It allows kids in. So it's just like, oh,
That sounds like a drawback for you.
it's annoying, man. A drawback in what way? As in, like, it's a disadvantage.
100%.
It is. That's why I haven't used the spa because you just go in there, there's kids running about the place and blah, 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 blah. But if I need to have the time to use the spa. And what days, like, when my schedule was set up, it would have to be a Friday evening. And yeah, so it had to be a Friday evening. It can't be a Saturday because my Saturday routine is that I finish the gym. I'm there from 10 to 12 for the classes I do. And then that's peak time because the kids are around and stuff like that. And then Sunday is the Lord's Day. I'm not just going to get up and just go to the gym spot. Do you know what I'm trying to say? It's just tricky in terms of when I have time to go. And when I go during the week, I'm now even in a place where I'm actually going to work from there sometimes because evenings it's just so peak.
Yeah.
As in so busy.
Yeah.
So I'm in a tricky position. I don't know how I'm supposed to use the spa.
Said tricky kiki.
First world problems, obviously.
There's no way I'm spending all that money on just.
I'll be honest with you. If you want a
weights.
gym in Liverpool Street, you will be.
No, I won't be.
You will.
I don't know why you're speaking this kind of negativity in my life.
I told you I'm in a mood. So I don't know if it's for me. But to be fair though, if you go to the gym that you go to now, but you're looking at £40, man. I'm never going to be funny. Because before I went to this gym, I thought, okay, let me look at the prices everywhere else.
Yeah. And
there was another gym I thought, okay, I could go to. If I don't use the spa anyway, let me find a nice gym that's got good classes, blah, blah. They're like 40 something. I said, don't be silly. Don't be silly.
For just the glasses?
No, it was it was the gym. It was even 40 something. I think they even touched 50. And I just thought, for a gym that has no spa, you're doing the most. But yeah.
Man.
I like a good gym though. But I like gyms that. What's this for? What's it? Oh, yeah. I just like a good gym, man. To be honest.
I hear you.
I've been wasting money all my life because I've been going to gyms that have spas.
I'm not utilizing it
since I was like 16.
Serious.
And I don't really be going to the spas like that. It's just long, and I think also another thing is I hate packing. Like when I say I hate packing for travel, I haven't unpacked since Lagos. And I'm going back very soon. Yep. I'm just gonna shift the things. There we go. I was like, I'm gonna be going back soon. What's the point? I hate packing. I hate packing so much. And so when I've got to go and use the spa in the gym, I've got to pack everything. Yeah. Thankfully, they give you towels, which is fair, but the towels gives you fluff. So I don't know how I feel, but I'm going to pack my own towel. Then I've got to pack my skincare routine, my face routine, change of clothes. It's just a lot. And then when I go and I come back home, guess what I've got to do? Unpack the bag. And so it's just, it stresses me out.
That's exciting for me, though.
Packing. Oh, Brent. I can't tell you how much I hate it. Hate it.
I don't think I'd ever get tired of packing
Love that for you.
a travel, an adventure.
I love that for you.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I did.
Question. Check the screen.
Okay, what's happening on the screen?
Are you a sore loser?
It depends.
On what you're doing?
Yeah, and what's being done. I am competitive, I would say. I don't think I'm a sore loser. I think I'm just like, I'm competitive. I get in the very competitive spirit. I'm competitive. I'm competitive. Any little thing.
Do you weigh up whether you can actually be successful in whatever activity is posed to you before you say yes?
You know, so crazy. I'm conflicted in the answer I want to give. Because my way here this morning, I listened to a sermon about pride.
Okay.
And what I wanted to say to you when you said that was, I'm Nigerian, of course I can do anything. It's just like, okay, challenge. I'm very challenge accepted.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't, unless it's like certain things I know that I definitely wouldn't do. If you go and tell me to stay in a box of rats, don't be silly. I'm not doing that. But if I feel like, you know what, I may be able to do that. I'm not arrogant in saying I can definitely do it, but I would like to give it a try. And if I'm going to give it a try, I will give it my best try. Yeah. But I wouldn't like race Usain Bolt. I would like, if he said, do you want to race? I'm okay, yeah, that's fine. But I wouldn't, in my mind, be like, I'm so good, I'm going to beat Usain Bolt. I'm going to give him my all and see what results I come up with.
All right, so fair enough. Though you believe that you would lose, you would still participate.
Yeah, but I wouldn't tell myself you will lose. Like, I don't go into it with a loser mindset. I go into saying you're going to learn something about yourself.
And that's even with Bolt next to you.
Yeah. So something like that, yeah, I can see that then being like things I find I'm not good at. I'm challenged to want to be better at it.
Yeah.
That's why I started doing spin.
Yeah.
Because I don't like spin. I'm not good at spin. Then I thought, you know what? I'm going to challenge myself, and every single week I'm in that class.
Yeah.
And I'm going to make this the best week of my and that's what's happening every single Saturday.
Okay.
So nice. I might get the running fever after running with Usain Bolt. Start running everywhere.
Look at this.
Like a wicked person.
Look at what this sore loser does, yeah.
Okay. Is she hitting her? Did she hit her? She did it. She couldn't have. It was like a national race.
Oh, gosh. Oh, gosh.
It's a national race. What the hell?
You have a baton in your hand.
No, you got to start fighting. You've actually got to start fighting.
And she passes you. No, I don't know if it is that she was vexed because she was so close to her, right? And she
Did you push her or something?
I don't know, but she just went.
It can't be because she beat her. Because there's other people that she has to beat.
The thing is, there's already somebody in front of her, so she knows that she's not winning this race, right?
That's the mad part.
And it even looks like they're on the same
team. Because you're going to beat her up as well.
Why is she trying to say sorry afterwards? You're banging on her head.
Or she's trying to act like she was running that way, like, but no, you weren't. Do you know what it is? You know what makes things like this worse? Is when there's a crowd and there's sound effects. They're like, no. I think that's the worst thing. It's like when someone falls, like, oh. Or like, I just think sound effects make things worse in those public spaces.
100%.
I don't like when camera people do stuff like that though. Keep the camera on them. What happens next? What happens next? Because as the first, I'm still going cross that and then I'll come back and find the tea. But what happens next?
Next video
Gotta beat her ass.
on Esther Reacts. Not sure if
Esther
you've
Reacts.
seen this.
In 2021, 4 years ago, I made a tweet, and the tweet referenced my.
Oh, we're going to talk about that on Word and Road.
Oh, serious? Good,
Yes,
good,
we
good,
are.
Good. Let me just take that off then.
Because
Let me take that off.
y'all are wilding.
And look who isn't in today.
Well, that's
The perfect person to ask this question.
well.
To be honest,
Oh, I thought you meant E-Man. You meant Gina.
yeah.
Oh, my bad.
I actually, I'm breaking down this point. I actually thought that she pulled a sickie because she knew I was gonna basically ask
Oh,
about
no.
this.
Preaching had a weekend and a half.
Yeah. She told me.
She had the best time of her life.
She told me, which is good. I want to hear that full-on debrief on Friday.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into the headlines.
Please.
My weekend was absolutely ran, by the way.
Yes, how was your weekend?
I'm telling
David
you,
playing the keys
I got a
behind
little
this.
bass too. Got a little bass going on in the stew too, you know.
Love it. All right, people. Our headlines for today. Mark Carney has won the race to succeed Justin Trudeau as Canada's next Prime Minister with a vow to win the trade war against US President Donald Trump. The former governor of Canada and the UK central banks beat three rivals in the Liberals' leadership contest in a landslide. In much of his victory, Carney, who's age 59, attacked Trump, who has imposed tariffs on Canada and said he wants to make the country the 51st US state. Americans should make no mistake, he said. In trade, as in hockey, Canada will win. Well, that's a bar. Carney is expected to be sworn in as Prime Minister in the coming days and will lead the Liberals in the next general election, which is expected to be called in the coming weeks. The leadership race began in January after Trudeau resigned, following nearly a decade in office. He had faced internal pressure to quit over deep unpopularity with voters who were frustrated with the housing crisis and the rising cost of living. Carney won on the first ballot on Sunday evening, taking 85.9% of the vote to beat his nearest rival, former Finance Minister Chrystia Freeland. Carney, who will lead a minority government in Parliament, could either call a snap general election himself or the opposition parties could force one with a no confidence vote later this month. Our next headline. The Conservatives have said the Human Rights Act should no longer apply to immigration decisions. They are calling for a change in the law that would stop people challenging their deportation on human rights grounds in the UK courts. Leader Kemi Badenoch has previously criticised how some foreign criminals and illegal migrants, were using the act to avoid deportation. A Home Office source told the BBC the Conservatives had left the asylum system in chaos and the suggestion would be totally unworkable. The Human Rights Act was passed by a previous Labour government and incorporates the European Convention on Human Rights, ECHR, into British law. The ECHR has been a hotly debated topic within the Conservative Party, with some on the right wanting the UK to pull out of the treaty completely. The Act has been used to halt attempts to deport migrants deemed to be in the UK illegally, and it stopped flights carrying asylum seekers taken off for Rwanda. Badenoch has not proposed leaving the ECHR, but has argued some foreign criminals and migrants in the UK illegally have successfully used the Act to avoid deportation, saying, for example, this would undermine their right to family life. She also believes some judges generously interpret the provisions of the Act when rejecting deportation. The Conservatives are suggesting an amendment to the government's border security, asylum and immigration bill, which is currently at the committee stage, that would disapply the Act in immigration cases. And our last headline in this segment. The UK is not considering introduction conscription to ready the country for potential war. Sorry, let me read that again. The UK is not considering introducing conscription to ready the country for potential war, but decisions may be needed in the future to respond to the new reality we are now living in, a minister has told Sky News. In an interview with Trevor Phillips, Latvian President Edgars Rinkēvičs has urged European countries to follow his country's lead and absolutely introduce conscription, conceding the continent is quite weak militarily. Asked if the UK government is considering introducing the measure to boost the armed forces, Cabinet Officer Minister Pat McFadden said it is important the UK does not find itself operating under old assumptions and that it may be decisions are needed in the future that respond to a new reality. He told Sunday Morning with Trevor Phillips, we are not considering conscription, but of course we have announced a major increase in defence expenditure. We do have to recognise that the world has changed. The phrase step up is used a lot. Europe does have to step up in terms of its own defence. Sir Keir Starmer has promised to increase defence spending to 2.5% of GDP, but has not set out when this will be achieved. Ministers say a defence review to be published this spring will set out a roadmap to it. I don't know what I thought about this weekend actually.
Mm.
Of people having to, of if there was a war and people having to by force go and fight the war. I think that'd be crazy. I can't imagine that. But yeah, let's get into our what you saying topic of the day.
Question before we get into that. Are you good at kind of looking at somebody and kind of guessing where they work? Other than like what their career is?
No.
Have you ever tried it?
No. I think maybe if I had conversations with them, I might assume what I think they do. But sometimes no, no. I can tell people are feeling, but no, not their work. Why?
I kind of do that sometimes as a pastime, innit?
Do you?
Yeah, just to see.
Are you always right though?
I don't always look to confirm.
Oh, so you just guess what you think people do for a living?
Yeah. You
Oh,
know
that's
how
fine.
some people like count red cars?
Yeah.
And some people train spot?
Or you just guess what you think people do?
Yeah.
Do you know one thing I would like to do there? I would like to meet people and just lie about what I do for life.
Charlie does it all the time.
That's where I got it from. Because she said it on the podcast one time. I said, that's so cool. I want to do that. But I'm never in a situation where that happens. But I'm going to start doing it.
All right, let's stay here for just a couple seconds, right?
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it is that you were in when I asked the question about lying, right?
Yeah.
What
was the question?
I think I asked Emmanuel, is it a bad thing that I lie on hair?
Right.
Huh? Because I see it as entertainment, innit? And I don't lie to those I love. It's just for strangers.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Fair.
And if somebody then asks me am I lying, I'll say yeah.
Yeah.
Do you understand? I wouldn't.
Fair. Like you wouldn't keep
continue.
up the lie by lying.
Yeah. Is that a red flag?
No.
Why you say no? Is it because you're Esther?
Well, because I'm a liar.
I didn't. I wanted to get there, but I wanted to start by offering my transparency first and vulnerability first before I did that.
Before you pointed out, I was
Yeah,
but I lie to people that I love.
Sensational.
We are not the same.
Sensational. Sensational.
Anyway, I don't think it's bad because I just think, okay, I'm not against
Of course
lying.
you don't think it's bad.
No, but I lied once.
Only once.
I lied to you once. It wasn't the one time I lied to you.
No, but you didn't call it that, a lie.
Well, I've grown.
Oh, well.
I told you I listened to a sermon
There we
about
go.
pride this morning.
Sensational.
I've grown. That was a lie. I outrightly lied. And when I think about it, for what? You know, that's a part of my life I wish I could erase.
Serious? Because you got caught.
No, because I'm just like, how dumb. Because you know what it is? I feel like,
No, I understand that.
like I feel like that wasn't me. It wasn't. It was not me. Like,
Why have you said that?
when I say it wasn't me, it's like because I knew better at every stage and I chose not to do better.
I disagree. That
I knew
wasn't
better.
you.
I definitely knew better.
It's nice for you to say no that it wasn't you because it's.
I don't wanna be
kinda
attached to that.
separate. Yeah.
No, but I don't think, no, I don't think, when I say it wasn't me, I mean, it's not how I like to live and it's not the commitment I made to myself of how I want to live.
Yes.
So when I say it's not me, not that was a different person, blah, blah. I mean, she's a woman I do recognize her to be fair, and I know why I was like that at that point, but it's not me as in who I was before that point and who I've been after that point. It's a glitch.
I think you kind of gave into feeling happy for a brief while, even though you knew it wasn't permanent.
Yeah.
So you were fully aware that. Look,
This is a joke.
But let me get a look. Wasn't that around that time with the whole fire as well?
Yeah, it was the whole thing.
So
That was a
makes
very
sense
peak
to me.
time of my life,
It
actually.
made sense to me. There was so
Yeah.
much bad that was going
But
on.
there's no excuse it because,
I'm not excusing it.
okay, calm down. Lie.
God damn it.
But no, to be fair, yeah, it was interesting, man. Ew. Anyway.
Sensational.
Oh my God.
What a joke. Anyway, back to lying. I don't think it's a bad thing because I just feel like the world we live in, you have to. I just feel like you have to protect yourself.
And you think that's what I'm doing?
No, you're just a clown.
You think that's what
It's
I'm
not.
doing?
No, this is why I think I do approve of lying to strangers.
Yeah.
And when I say lying to strangers, obviously it depends what you're lying about. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
Like say for example, someone asked me what I do for like that kind of stuff. I
Yeah.
would lie about it because first of all, it's none of your business.
Yeah.
Y'all are weird.
Yeah.
But also as well, yeah, other reasons.
But how can they then trust anything else I say if I'm always lying for entertainment?
You or me?
I'm talking about myself. I don't want to place you in it just yet.
Yes, when you say it. I don't think it's a thing of not trusting what he says because you're a clown for the most part. Right?
120%.
But then when you talk about the new black, you can tell you're not joking.
So you can tell a difference.
I think anyone can tell the difference.
Are you
because,
sure?
Yeah, because I feel like the passion, like you got a wicked voice.
See, for me, it's obvious when I'm lying, right?
Yeah,
But
it is.
I'm too close to it. That's not. I'm too close.
No, but I know as well because sometimes you sound serious and I'm like, a liar. You're just a liar.
But I've been thinking. I know when I've said a lie that is too far, right? And I
Yeah.
feel bad immediately.
Yeah, but do you retract it though?
I try to repair. 100% try to
Repair for what?
Repair.
Oh, repair. Oh.
Yeah. And sometimes I don't have to wait until I'm prompted. See what I'm saying?
I do think that you do. I do think that you doing for entertainment is one thing, but I also think that sometimes you do it for fun, and for fun is different to entertainment. Because I feel like even in serious situations, I feel like sometimes you just want to sprinkle it just because you can.
Yeah.
And you feel like you can get away with it.
In my mind,
And you do.
in my mind, them listening to this morning digest, right? You're gonna get the news, and the news is gonna be terrible at most times,
Exactly. Yeah.
right? So, I'm kind of doing a service.
You're lifting.
In my head, I'm
so
kinda,
you're doing
do you
a
know
good
what I'm saying?
deed.
I think I'd be. God damn it! God
So
damn
you think
it!
you're helping people.
I just want them
This is your calling.
to be entertained whilst it is that they are plugged into us.
I like it. Has anyone complained about it?
100%. But it's when
is
it
it?
affects them.
How does it
It's
affect
never
them?
when it's not affecting them. It's
Well, who's complaining about it?
complaining. That is.
Oh, it's an ongoing complaint.
No, you said complaining. It's not complaining.
I didn't say anyone complained about it. I said who complained about it.
100%. I
but-
definitely can't say names.
Yeah,
What?
but like, what part did they complain about?
The stuff that affects them.
Yeah, but I can't think of anything that you do that affects
And
anybody.
then I have to basically then obviously apologize and say, this is who I am.
Is someone on the show that's a complaint?
No. But people don't know who I am.
That's what. So that's what. So I feel like there's certain people that can imagine complaining to you about it. Anybody else that's just on the receiving end of this
No, that's not
broadcast.
Fair. That's not fair because
Well, give me an example then.
I can't. They will still be close enough to me for me not to do something that will hurt them.
The only person like I can't see anything that you've ever been joking about, silly about, that anybody who's just watching the show could possibly complain about. Like I don't see any subject matter.
That's fair, but for example, not that this is the case, right?
Yeah.
Let's just say I lied about somebody's character and it became a profile because I've sold it well.
That's different.
How is it different?
You lied about someone's character.
So
I'm
that's bad, right?
I'm talking about the little sprinkle things you do here for entertainment.
Oh, so you're
I'm not talking about when it's directed at a
So
person.
you're not even really focusing on the substance of what I'm asking you. You're just talking about.
I didn't know there was that substance.
There's levels isn't
Because they're gonna complain about that.
it? Precisely.
But I'm not talking. But I'm not talking about targeted lies. I thought you meant like when you just say crazy things and it's just for entertainment, as in just going. Not when it's targeted at one person. Of course, they should bloody call you up on that.
And how about the subtleties of them wanting to believe that it's true?
As
And
in
I
the
said
public
it well.
or an individual person you're talking to?
The strangers, when I'm putting it up there. Like I will say something that's really close to believable.
Okay, so then they just take it as gospel. I think it's just jokes. I think it's part of the fun. It's part of the fun of not being in this room.
Until
Because you don't know the truth.
you're now the subject of my entertainment on that day.
Yeah, but I would just call you out on it. But I think we're talking about different things. Because again, I'm talking about when you just say additional, like when you do things for the entertainment or you ask certain questions or or you lead conversations in a certain place.
Yeah.
I'm talking about that kind of entertainment. That's why I said I can't imagine that. What's going to do with you? But if it's a thing where it's targeted at a particular person, of course that makes sense.
Yeah.
For people to be upset with you.
Yeah. So why are you comfortable lying?
I'm not comfortable lying because I don't.
To those you love.
I don't lie to people that I love. I'm put that out there. That was just one time I lied to Brent, but at the time if it was needed.
Sorry, I don't. Just toss me. Do you agree with this?
Why is that? Black Rob, Brent TDA is different from Brent in person. Brent TDA is different from Brent in person. Yeah, I think you're who you're meant to be, who God intended in person. You're a clown on here. But I feel like when you're in person, like, because I'm imagining, for example, being at an event, right?
Yeah.
How you are on the show is not how you are at events. Because you're meeting people, even when you meet people that watch the show and stuff, you get to know them, obviously meet them, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Then if the more time they spend with you, then they know, then they see Brent, they see glimpses of Brent and TDA. So for example, let's think of Daryl's tour.
Yes.
At the start of it,
yes,
you're Brent, Black Rob saying in person.
Yes.
Normal Brent.
Yes.
Quote unquote normal Brent, right?
Yes.
As the day went on, where now you're familiar with everybody and blah, 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 then you get into your cheeky behavior. But you don't just meet people be cheeky, you just...
All right, so all that tells me is that...
you step up your wickedness.
I just read the room. And they're seeing different parts of me. But I am still the whole Brent. On
they
TDA,
might see that
I've been serious.
Yeah.
I've been empathetic.
Yeah.
I've been clownish.
Range, honey.
I've been downright stupid.
Range.
And that happens in real life too.
Yes, but the thing is though, if someone meets, unless someone spends a day with you or hours with you, or they wouldn't get to see the Brent in the TDA Brent.
So you're
I feel like
saying...
that's quite kind of what he's saying, where at first meet, you're not Brent that people are used to on TDA. And I think, because you know when people meet people that they watch or whatever, they always expect them to be like how they watch. Yeah. But they're not always like that though.
Okay. Well, to be honest, I'm the same every forum I'm in. It just depends on what is needed of me in that particular forum. But I'm literally the same. I don't change my my character. Yeah. Yeah. But anyway, so you lied to those you love because...
I lied to a person. Let's not make it this my tag. Just say you lied to those you love. I don't like people that I love. I only lie to you for a specific reason.
You proper like... I don't know what you're talking about, Brent.
But I'm so good at lying though.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so good at lying.
I do believe that. And
do I lie also?
I think you're good at keeping information that doesn't need to be given to that person.
Basically, yeah.
And I guess one could say that's withholding.
Yeah. I'm an omitting liar. Omission liar.
Is it ever good to hear somebody gleefully talk about how they lie? Because right now,
I'm gleefully talking about
some people are like, what the hell?
I'm skilled.
You're just opening up your mouth saying you're lying freely and you think that's okay?
Yeah, but again, I think it depends on the lie. I think if we lied to harm people, then that's different. Because then you can't gleefully talk like that's crazy that you're talking about that like that. But then the lies that we lie is not to harm.
Yeah. And
people might say, but intention is not to, it don't harm.
Yeah. And I believe that there is a distinction, that difference between lying to harm and then lying for entertainment, thinking that you've done enough to let everybody know what I just said, the sarcasm, the little wit. Yeah. It's enough for you to know it was a joke.
Actually, no, I do lie to people that I love. But then it's to protect them though.
Come on.
I would say, for example, well done. Say, for example, there was a conversation that we're having or something, and they need to know a certain truth. I think some things are just too harsh and intense, depending on what the person's going through, whatever the case is, to just dump on them and just be that harsh. Yeah. I don't believe in tough love. Yeah. When it's come to people, people are like, oh, I'm honest, I'm going to be brutal. Like, I don't believe in being brutal with people that I love. Yeah. So I guess it is a form of lie that I will slowly tell you things that you need to tell you. Like, I will tell you in measured doses basically. So I guess that could be lying.
Okay. The reason why I asked about guessing each person's like
profession.
Yeah, profession was because you've heard Von speak.
Yeah.
right? What do you think he does for work? If you were to hazard a guess, see, this is the first time you've done this.
What I think he does, I think he gives me finance vibes. He gives me finance vibes. Like he works in like banking or something. You really had a time of the weekend. I think he gives me finance vibes. He gives me a very serious job, board meetings, that kind of vibe.
Do
If I
you
find out he's a
think?
plumber, I'll be that with jokes.
Do you
'Cause I can't
think
imagine that.
he goes to a gym that costs £275 a month?
Yeah.
He could
One
swing
gives
that,
me-
right?
He gives me vibes. He's got money.
Yeah, he gives me vibes that I don't want to be around sweaty Negroes.
No, I didn't say that. I didn't say
That's
it.
what you don't. No, that's not what you meant.
Of course not. I
Okay,
just meant
cool,
that he gives me vibes that he's in a well-paying job and he's got a really good life.
Where he thinks 275 a month is adequate to just blow on a
you got
few
it.
exercise bikes.
If you got it,
Yeah.
yeah.
When you are filthy like that,
For the
would you
rich.
be looking to pay 275 a month?
If it's a good gym that serves my purposes and stuff, yeah.
And the purposes that you're talking about is what?
Going to the gym, working out, going to the spa, having like if it's got like a nice workspace there, I can get treatments in there.
the girl
Yeah.
spot looking like it's right up the alley. If it's 275 a month, would you?
No, but also the girl spot. If the girl spot was close to me, I would actually support a beautiful business like that
Come on.
and go. But it's not. It's quite very far from me actually.
Come on.
It's on the other side of town from me. But if it was actually like close to me, I would have changed there. And I could afford it, I would change there.
Definitely want to get into this because I've been observing like some of the comments from cishet women. Is that right? Did I say that right?
That's like biological women.
Yeah. And it's interesting.
Are they turning now? Because before I went to bed yesterday, I was reading all the things.
I'm seeing mixed responses, but I'm seeing too many
Oh, the cis-het women
of
that
the
she's doing
cishet
this for.
women. Yeah. So I want to get into this.
I want it to be so successful. Like, and that girl just can't catch a break every day.
How about Black Rob? What profession do you see him in?
What do I see Black Rob doing? I feel like I see him working with like IT and stuff. Like maybe tech.
I think he has
I
the
know it's to
brain
do
for anything.
Yeah, I know it's something to do with that.
How about Maggie?
Maggie.
We already know Kevin is a boxer.
Maggie. I get Maggie confused with someone that calls in all the time. Abby.
Okay.
Maggie and Abby, for some reason. Have we heard Maggie on the phone?
Yes.
Does she sound like Abby?
No.
Does she sound like she's from Dublin?
No.
That's Abby then. What do I think Maggie does? I feel like Maggie does something impactful. Like something that like serves people where she's like face to face with people.
Yeah.
Like something like a teacher, but not quite a teacher, but something like that. Humanitarian.
Yeah. Would you
That
peg her for a producer of some sort? Conducting? Because a teacher conducts.
I can see her. I can imagine she's very organized though. Like very organized and
There
very
we go.
reliable. So yeah, I can see her as that.
Okay. How about Eddie? And then do Chijoke.
Eddie, I can also see Eddie in like IT and stuff.
Really?
Yeah, he gives me like numbers smart or like computer smart. That kind of
Man
vibe.
said Rain Man, yeah?
What?
He said Rain Man.
What's a raid man?
Don't try to play dumb
Actually,
now.
I'm not playing. I'm dead ass. What is that?
The most prolific numbers man.
Oh, fair.
Famous for
Fair. Chijoke, what I imagine Chijoke doing. I feel like I can definitely see Chijoke in defo a 9 to 5, defo corporate world. But I'm not sure what sector. Told you she's helping the world. Didn't I tell you?
what is sustainability? Is it like Greenpeace and that?
Yes, I like recycling. Just things that help keep the world, that will keep our world.
You
World.
work in a recycling factory, Maggie? Is that true?
There's
What
many ways
Esther
to
said?
sustainability. It could be like sustainable fashion. It could be like ways. Maybe she helps like companies
I
how
don't see
to
Maggie
be
working
how
in
to
a
be sustainable.
recycling factory.
I don't see that.
Do you get in a truck? Do you
What
collect
are
the
you
recycling
asking?
too?
I can see. Yeah, I feel like maybe it helps companies be more sustainable and stuff like that. What do I see Chijioke doing? Maybe numbers as well. Maybe finance.
I should have said wrong answers only. How about
I could have won a stripper.
how about Dr. Amani?
So, I know what Dr. Money does.
But if you didn't, wrong answer only.
If I didn't, what would I think Dr. Money does? Maybe like project management or something.
Serious?
Yeah.
Cool. Who else? Oh, Ed. Wrong answer only. No, and right answer.
I did Ed already. Oh, Ed, other Ed. Ed. I can see Ed working with like young people, like the way Sace does.
Yeah.
Because he talks about like how like his upbringing
How he used to
and
be on the road and used to
yeah,
buy
and
guns
like
and that.
and he's just so I didn't say all of that, and he's just so like quote unquote reformed. Like he's very wholesome, got a lovely wife, got a lovely kid. Like I can see him doing something like that, impactful. Wrong answer. Go St. Patrick or something. Maggie says, I work with corporates and brands to reduce their negative impact. See? Guess right. Big up Maggie.
Big up Maggie all the time.
Right.
Chase shit, never chase no bitches.
Are we doing the topic of the day? Was this the topic of the day?
No, it's not. No, it's not. I just wanted to see if it is that you can guess properly.
Are people telling you what they actually do?
Huh?
Are they telling what they actually do?
No. Just Maggie.
So what are you reading?
I love the entertainment in the chat, innit?
Clearly.
Obviously, I need to be in the room with you because nobody else for you to box off of whilst I entertain myself.
Oh, Eddie is a certified healthcare assistant. Interesting.
Serious?
Yeah.
Certified, yeah?
Big up Eddie. Big up Eddie.
All the time.
What is
all the
Ramsey
time.
talking about? Do you know what Ramsey?
Let's get back into the thing. You kind of want to do what you do now. Let's go into the topic of the day.
Okay. All right. That part. What are we talking about today? Black Brits versus Black Americans, a heated debate over soul food and culture. Stacey, I'm going to need for this one.
Sensational.
What was that?
No.
What the hell was that?
Don't worry.
All right.
It's just somebody saying sensational.
Who's that?
Future.
That's not Future. It sounded like a UK podcaster.
Serious?
I think so.
Ah.
Okay, we've got videos to play, please, Brent.
Okay.
Please play the one titled Brits Talk.
Let us load it up.
So what do people got to say today?
Oh, our babes.
He's over here from America.
We got the girls, the aunties.
Keith Lee, the food reviewer, he's over here from America, and apparently in some of his comments, Americans are pissed off that he's not. They're saying like, "Where's the British food that you're eating?" Because he's enjoying Trinidadian food and road. He's going around all the restaurants. And
Fuck off! Because he does that. He does that in America. I've seen him.
No. He has had British food though.
Yeah,
he has.
But
He
there's-
has.
there's all these
But
conversations.
about that particular comment, he does that in America. He doesn't only eat like whatever He doesn't only eat soul food, and
That's different.
even things like. Even what is American food? But if you think about that, it's the influence from the Africans. That's what
And other
that's,
communities
and
that were in
other,
America,
and
yeah.
other communities. But it is the influence from that. But because they want to separate themselves so much from that, where do you think this shit comes
And I think
from?
there's a misunderstanding to what they don't understand that actually they don't understand that we have our own version of soul food. That, and though we call it, we might say it's African food or Nigerian food, Ghanaian food, Caribbean food, Canadian food, and traditional dishes. We have soul food over here. Soul food isn't exclusive to Americans. We just don't
call
call
something
it soul
different.
food. But again, it's about education. If you haven't had these conversations, you're going to ask these questions.
Okay, and then we've got another one.
All right.
I think some Black Brits are jealous of Black Americans because we are ingrained in American society in a way that Black Brits simply aren't in British society. Because for those 3 Black British women to get on a podcast and say, 1, they're tired of Black Americans, 2, we need to educate ourselves. But then to say that the UK also has soul food, it's just Nigerian food or Caribbean food, it's just asinine, but also you're clearly big mad. Because soul food is uniquely American, number 1, but also it is created by Black Americans, right? Because you can go to the Deep South, someone's white grandmother who uses the hard R cooks her grandkids collard greens with ham hocks and cornbread. I can't go to Hampshire and find somebody's nan who has gari in their cabinet, right? It's not the same. Since European Americans stepped foot on this continent, there have been Black Americans here. The same can't be said for those isles because, as you love to remind us, the UK is thousands of years old. And there were thousands of years before Europeans learned how to cross an ocean and pillage Black lands that they existed as a civilization. Now, they would not be an empire without you. But there is, for every Dido Bell or Ignatius Sancho who was not born on that land but brought to that land, we're ingrained in history. And I'm not talking about the one hot take. I think some Black Brits are jealous of Black Americans.
Which I find so interesting. I'm quite disconnected from the world we live in. As in, like, I don't see this world as my home. As Christ said I shouldn't. And so when people fight over like things like this, like I can't understand it. I just can't. I can't relate. I can't understand the need for it because it's not something that you would ever win. And I think that for the conversation, a lot of people on every side tend to show some form of ignorance. Like there's so many, like even the other day, someone said something, what did she say? Oh yeah, she tweeted, it was a Black girl, she tweeted, waist beads are not for fashion, please put them away. And I quote tweeted saying like, there are thousands of African cultures. And even in cultures where you might see someone from another culture and you say that we share this one thing, the meaning and the significance for both of you will be different. So to just say that because in your culture, your waist beads not meant to be shown, means that everybody else is doing it wrong. And I think I see the same thing when it comes to this conversation about British food and American food and Black Americans and Black Brits. Like, what are you talking about? All of these things, as far as I'm concerned, these conversations are not relevant for the most part. For the ways that people are having these conversations. Okay, you don't like American food, fair. You don't like British food, that's fair. But I don't think it's ever enough to like, I just don't think it's that deep. Because basically, yeah, it was just a whole thing. I remember it was a whole thing on Twitter, on TikTok and whatnot, and Keith Lee saying this and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, how could you eat this with that? Like, people have different palates. There's a lot of British food that I've never personally tasted. I actually thought, maybe I want to do that this summer. You know, try different British, like there's a lot of British foods that I haven't tasted. I'm very picky with food. I'm very picky about textures and stuff like that. So, and also for all my life, I've been exposed to Nigerian food. So any day I would take Nigerian food over anything else. Do you get what I mean? So in what world is anyone ever going to all be on board on the kind of food is nice? It's never going to happen because everyone is different.
I think it's identity, innit?
Yeah. It's what you identify to as well.
Good morning, Stacey. And when you say British food,
good morning.
How are you? Long time no
speak.
Here.
Wow, that was noticed. Oh, y'all, my sleep schedule has been like a normal person lately.
How are you?
I'm sleeping through episodes, I fear. I'm doing well.
Good.
All right, before we jump into this topic of the day, what British food have you not eaten?
I haven't had a shepherd's pie.
Oh, you haven't had shepherd's pie?
I've never tried a shepherd's pie.
But you've tasted the Nigerian version, no?
A meat pie?
It's not meat pie. It's a potato and mince, isn't it? With carrots and stuff in it.
Meat pie. And it's closed.
But meat pie is...
It's like a patty.
Yeah, it has pastry in it.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
Does shepherd's pie have pastry?
Yeah.
Cottage pie. I'm talking about cottage pie.
I haven't had a cottage pie. I haven't had a shepherd's pie. I haven't had... what's the one that Keith Lee went in the bus and they didn't like it? The potato that's got like stuff in it.
Shepherd's pie is just potato and bloody minced meat.
I've never had it.
With little vegetables in it.
Never tried it.
And is there a version in...
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
We eat that out here.
What is...
I didn't know that was British.
There was something that Keith Lee tried and it's basically, you know how you got like, what is it? I can't remember what it's called, but it's like a potato and then you slice in the middle and you put like, you can have a tuna in it or you can have cheese in it or something like that and put it in the middle.
A potato? Oh, you're just talking about jacket potato?
Yeah, I've never had a jacket potato either.
Oh, serious?
Yeah. Okay. What else is there? I haven't had any British food outside of fish and
Pause.
chips.
Describe that.
It's again?
You
So
said
it's a potato. It's a baked potato.
baked potato.
And then you cut it in the middle, and then you put a filling in it. It could be cheese.
Tuna, it could be
Oh,
cheese.
okay.
Beans.
Yeah.
We do the same thing. We call it baked potatoes. I didn't know that y'all had a different name for it. That's interesting.
Yeah. What else is there? I haven't tried anything that's British except fish and chips, and even that I get from Turkish guys. And a kebab, is a kebab? That's not even British, is it? What else is British?
Roast, innit?
I have a Caribbean roast. I've never had a British roast. Actually, that's a lie. That's a lie. My sister's made a British roast. But I have, but my preferred is a Caribbean roast.
And what else do British people
What else do British
eat?
people eat?
You have fish and chips.
Done that.
You have roast.
Done that.
Fish and chips.
Done that.
Roast.
Done
Did I
that.
say roast?
You said roast. You said it 4 times. And you said fish and chips 4 times too.
Ah.
But I think though,
You have bird's eye.
I like a bird's eye nugget. But you know what's interesting about like British culture as well? British culture is very mixed with other cultures. Because when you think about it, like I think the top British food is like a curry. That don't even belong to y'all, technically.
Can I say
I
something?
need some education, right? Because I'm struggling. Pie and mash.
Never had that. Most certainly not.
English breakfast.
Love an English breakfast.
Come on.
That's the only thing. That's the only part of me that's English. I love an English breakfast.
Toad in a hole. Thank you very much.
Don't know what that is.
Toad in a
I don't want
hole.
no.
It's basically sausage around pastry.
It's a sausage roll. I had a sausage roll, a Greg sausage roll.
Is it?
But
sausage
no, I've
around
never had a
pastry?
toad in a
Let me
roll.
just type it in. Toad in a hole.
Did Keith Lee not try all these things when he was in the UK? Because that's what I gathered from these videos.
Well,
I think he tried the baked what's the potato one called again? What's the potato one called again?
Wait. Toad in the hole is a bit different. What potato one? What, jacket potato?
Jacket potato. I think he did try that.
This is toad in a hole.
Oh.
But that's the thing about certain British dishes. They look unsightly.
It doesn't look unsightly.
To us.
It doesn't look unsightly. To be honest with you.
To me.
And even when I have an English breakfast, by the way, I don't have that the black pudding. That's pig's blood. I've got to throw up.
That's interesting.
I don't eat mushrooms either.
What baffled me is that
It's like
he
toads.
came and he went to a Trinidad restaurant. It's like you can get that in America.
Yeah, but I feel like
I think that was the point of the argument, which is why I'm so perplexed by why this whole thing became a big thing. I think I saw the first video that Brent played first because it was circulating on my TikTok, and I very much understood the outrage. Though I don't understand, and help me understand if this is what y'all think.
Yeah.
I'm really not here to argue. Soul food is not what she was describing. Like, we have our own soul food. That's not a thing.
Talk to me.
Right? Like, can we all be on the same page about that? Or is that like a discrepancy?
As in,
Is
like,
that
Tell me
considered
about soul food.
When you say
American
you have your own,
food?
like American soul food is different to British soul food.
There's no such thing as British soul food.
To be fair, I've never actually associated soul food with us.
Yeah, I don't.
I see it as
I
American
never
food.
say British soul food. My
Yeah.
quote soul food is Trinidadian.
Okay, yeah.
And
See,
if I eat it in this country, it's
Yeah.
because it's a West Indian cook that's cooking it.
but then Stacey,
And
is the Black
are we
American one
conflating-
different to the Trinidadian
Are-
one? Like
So I
Caribbean
want
one?
we
her to
con-
run through the soul food to me.
Okay.
Are we conflating soul food with cultural food?
That's what I'm doing. I'm talking about the food that hits the soul.
Okay. I think that's what the lady in the video was trying to say.
Yeah.
And I think that then validates the argument that a lot of African Americans were making. That's like saying we have our own Nigerian food. No, because
fair.
that's Nigerian food. Like, soul food is a specific like title.
All right.
Of
So
where-
let's run through it. You have colored greens, right?
Okay.
No. Please confirm because
Like, is this part of what makes up a soul food dish or plate?
yes, that's what I'm doing. So you have to basically say yes, Stacey. We're having a back and forth now, yeah?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Is colored greens on the plate? And does that qualify as soul food in America?
Yes. That is a side dish of soul food, yes.
Lovely. Next is Fried chicken?
Yes.
Cornbread?
You said that.
Huh?
You said already?
Is that not what you said first?
No,
I
said collard
I
greens.
said colored greens.
Oh, sorry. You're right. Sorry. Yes. Cornbread is soul food.
Macaroni and cheese?
Yes.
Black-eyed peas?
Are you reading off of Google of soul food?
Girl, you know he is.
Yes, I am. Because in my mind, what y'all eat is so close to West Indian dishes.
Yeah, because it's what soul food comes from the South, and essentially it is the meals that I want to be politically correct when I say this because this is how I learned it historically. Soul food technically is a derivative of West African food, but it is a type. It is let me not say it's a type of West African food because it's actually not. It is what the enslaved people made, inspired by obviously the food that they made at home, being Africa, but with the limited resources that they had in America. So that is the birth of what soul food is. So is it inspired by West African food? Yes. Is it West African food? No. And I think the part that maybe I don't want to say isn't clicking for, I don't want to say y'all, but clearly by the chat, it's y'all. It's not, we're not conflating soul food and cultural food. I think soul food is a type of cultural food, but not all cultural food is soul food. And I think that's what the lady was doing, which is what was causing a lot of African Americans to be in an uproar. Because it's like, why is that when we have something that is from the culture that we have, the culture that we created in being here by force? And I'm saying we, speaking on behalf of them. Obviously, I'm not a descendant of slaves, right? Why is it that when we do that, it gets conflated, and then when we argue to protect what is a part of our culture, it becomes diaspora wars. Like, you don't see Indians being challenged when they say this is Indian food. No one's saying this is our version of, like, what are we talking about here? Does that make sense?
I'm not sure.
Ask me what you're confused.
So you've said that you think we are conflating things and we are saying soul food, but what we really want to just say is food from our culture. Yep.
Uh-huh.
And you are also saying, I think, that soul food has its own unique offering, that it shouldn't be conflated.
Yes.
Okay, so that's why I was running through the list of things you would normally find on a table when people are gathered around it and they say, oh, this is soul food. Because I think there are items there that you're not going to find on a traditional Trinidadian plate or Nigerian plate. And that's where I'm like, all right, cool, you got that one. But the rest of it, 100% there was influence because that's where you're from. And yes, the lack of resources that you had at the time, you now made something from it. And I guess in everybody's country, we have that same outlier. But in large parts, there are things that are exactly alike, like the fried chicken, like the macaroni and cheese, like the cornbread. Do you understand? 100%, in my mind, there is more in common that I can say, when I go there, I feel like home, than there's different.
I think that we also have a problem with naming like very popular soul food items and not also talking about the other very specific soul food dishes
But
that
you
don't
stopped me.
cross over. Oh, I didn't mean to. I asked you are you just reading a list of Google what you call it, and you said yeah, and then we moved on.
All right,
that was intentional.
Let's get to chitlins, right? Because that's
what's chitlins?
To you, it will be shaki.
Oh, okay.
The intestines of pigs.
It's like a skin.
Shaki's cow, like tripe.
Yeah.
And we eat tripe.
Okay.
Right. But that's not the way that it's prepared is different.
And
the way it different. There are meals that are at the end of the day we have the same animals all over the world, right? The way you prepare it is what makes it different and culturally specific. So to African Americans, what they know as chitlins, to us in my culture, we know as matumbo. To someone else in Nigeria, it's going to be called something else. Like, yeah, obviously, meat is meat is meat. How it's prepared is what makes it different, and that's culturally exclusive.
I'm with Esther. A certain degree, I'm with Esther. I do believe it's important to have an identity when you're talking about the things that make up parts of your lived experience. But for me, there's too much in common with soul food for me to be squabbling. Yes, all these animals are the same thing. We prepare it differently, but I've come there and I've seen the thing that I recognize before you've now done stuff to it. I'm tasting that.
Right. But you're taking the term for what someone has called their cultural food, and you're making it yours just because you have similar ingredients. And that's what I'm saying is what they're fighting.
I'm making it mine?
No, you're not. You're not. Just because, like, let's use the example of intestines, right? Intestines is a similar ingredient to a dish that Esther might eat in her household, or you might eat in your household, or people who eat chitlins out here eat. But that doesn't mean that it's the same. It's the same protein, but how it's prepared is different. And that's what makes it have its own cultural identity. So what I don't understand, I'm Kenyan, right? A lot of Kenyan food has Indian inspiration. Do we say this is our version of Indian food, or do we call it Kenyan food? It's Kenyan food. You don't see anyone fighting. There's a historical reason as to why it has so much Indian inspiration, and we can go back in history and identify that. But we're not fighting people to say, "Oh no, it's just Indian food."
So
no.
Yeah, that example in Trinidad, we have a lot of Indian influence. But even the Indians in Trinidad look to separate themselves from the Indians in India. I don't know if that was relevant at all.
I guess I'm so perplexed as to how this is even up for debate.
I don't know what we're debating. I need to understand what we're debating. What are we debating?
I'm saying that the lady is flat out wrong, and it's not even up for debate. And everyone who's debating it in the chat, I don't understand what's not clicking. Soul food is from the South in America. It is a type of food exclusively made by African Americans, as that is their cultural food. So this lady conflating soul food with cultural food and being mad, saying that when people are saying that's not the same thing, I'm not understanding what's clicking. I'm saying what she was doing was equating soul food to cultural food when she was saying we have our own soul food. No, you don't. Nobody says we have our own Nigerian food. No, sweetie. That's not it.
I don't know. I watched that, and I think that she was frustrated that Keith Lee came over here and was eating this British slop, quote unquote. I've just said it, quote unquote, so don't come for me, British people. And she was like, "Why are you doing that? Right? Why didn't you go and eat at a Nigerian restaurant? Why did you go and eat at... You only went to a Trinidad restaurant, but even in the West Indies, every single island has its own variation of such and such.
Yeah.
So don't go back and say you've tasted British food and it's this, that, and the next. Because that's not reflective of truth and reality. That's what I got from that particular thing.
But when the other lady on the side was reacting to her, she was saying something to the extent like, why didn't he try our Jamaican food, or why didn't I could be remembering wrong. But I think the point is, if he's going to travel to different countries, he would want to try dishes that are exclusive to that country. If I'm Jamaican, why am I going to the UK to go and try Jamaican food when I have a food blog and I'm meant to be trying things that are native to that place? Like, I could hear her argument if she said if maybe he went to the wrong places to go and get it. He often does that because he gets a lot of recommendations that maybe take him wayward. But I don't think that I'm not understanding. Like, the whole thing doesn't make sense to me. Like, why wouldn't he come to the UK and try British food? Why would you be throwing out Jamaican, Trinidad, whatever the fuck, Caribbean, African? like cool as places that people out here go and enjoy. And there's a reason why that might be popular, because there are a lot of people from these backgrounds who live here. But I want to try that. If it was Keith Lee, I want to try that plus what's actually native to this country. What is wrong with that? And why are you so angered by that you now want to conflate a term that doesn't belong to your people's food with your people's food? Like, then be mad when the people whose culture that is get mad and say, "Sweetie, no, you don't. That's not yours."
Question,
I don't
Stacey.
understand.
So, do you associate and identify with soul food being part of your lived experience? Your identity?
No, because I'm African. I didn't grow up eating soul food.
So when you're saying awa, what do you?
I already disclaimed that. I already disclaimed what I meant by that.
Well, I'm not asking
earlier when I said I'm not.
I now want you to bring it into the present as I'm asking you now.
When we were talking a couple points ago, when I was explaining the meaning of soul food, I was saying that where it comes from, and I used the term "we," and I said, to be clear, I'm not a descendant of slaves, but we referring to Black people. Like, I don't mean to put myself in that category, as that isn't my direct culture, but I'm just using a term to get to the sentence.
So you're not like offended by the clip because you don't really identify with that being part of your diet anyway.
No, soul food is a part of my diet. It's not a regular part of my diet. I eat it. I understand where it comes from.
Just like you eat Chinese, but you wouldn't associate with it. You wouldn't identify with it being part of your culture.
No, I think that the short answer to that is yes. But it's nuanced because I'm around it a lot, being from America and being raised in a Black area where that is what the people here, that is their cultural food.
All right. So let me know, outside of the fried chicken, macaroni and cheese, black-eyed peas, sweet potato pie, banana pudding, red beans, rice. Tell me the things that are outside of the normal things that I consume that you would say is just strictly soul food.
Ham hocks.
Ham who?
Ham hocks.
Ham hocks.
Let me just type that in.
Like slices of, it's in our roast, no?
Ham hocks. Okay. Let me throw it up to
when you make your collard greens, you're not putting ham hocks in your collard greens.
Ham hocks.
That's a soul food thing.
Okay.
So collard greens might be something that many cultures eat, but the way it's prepared, specific to soul food, often has some type of protein in it. Most authentically, things like ham hock.
This is pig, right?
Yeah.
Ham. It's ham.
Yeah. But how this looks here, this looks like how we put
that's in greens.
How we put pig in
ham hocks
stuff. So I do this in Trinidad. I put this, but we do like pig foot and stuff and pigtail and whatnot. I do this in Trinidad. I just call it different. I just call it different. So
do you put it in your collard
greens? That wouldn't be wild to me.
Do you put it in your collard greens?
No, I don't call it collard greens, but yes, I could put it in my vegetables.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. I understand you're pointing out similarities, but that is case in point of what I'm saying about preparation being specific to soul food. How it's made, you don't put turkey necks, you don't put ham hocks in your specifically collard greens. That is a soul food meal.
All right. Other than that, because I want to find out how many more other than the majority that falls into my bracket. Go on. So there's one. Just
yams.
Prepare differently. Go on.
Yams.
Did you say yam or gam?
Yams.
Yams. What soul food considers yams is not the yams that you know.
Yeah,
at least for
like
Esther.
Sweet potatoes or something.
It's sweet potatoes. How they
like
prepare
in a pie,
it,
right?
No.
Okay.
There is sweet potato pie, but yams.
Okay.
Look up soul food yams.
I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah, so sweet potatoes.
And it's like candied yams, yeah?
It can be candied, but not everybody makes it that way.
Okay, lovely. That's another one.
You're making me so hungry.
It's nice, isn't it? Tell me another one.
Trying to think of one that's like super. I'm trying to think of one that's not gonna be conflated with something that exists other places. You eat pig feet, so that's not one. Chitlins, honestly, can be one, but other people eat tripe, so I don't want that to be. I don't know.
And that's fair, right? Now, I have no issue letting any culture call their food whatever they want. I have no issue them needing people to understand that they prepare these things differently to others, because every single country that is black would have some staple that is familiar, and then others with variation, this, that, and next, 100%. So even when I now go to the southern states, or it doesn't matter where I go, because I'm sure it's not just in the southern states they cook the soul food, I am just going to sit and enjoy because a lot of it is familiar to me, right? And the thing that isn't prepared, like I know it to be prepared, I'm trying that too, because I want to see how else you can prepare this particular dish. I might want to adopt it and put it into my mix. So I personally didn't listen to that clip and think that. I only thought about, why is this guy coming here and eating this particular thing, and then going back and saying, hey, I did the British thing, and then the blacks in America would think that that's what we blacks, nyam. Do you understand?
But then he went to, wasn't it that he went to Trinidadian restaurant?
100%, but they have West Indian restaurants over there.
Yeah, so but then isn't the black British cuisine though all types of cultures?
What is a black British cuisine?
Okay, not even black British cuisine. British cuisine involves other cuisines. Because people love a kebab, that's not British, that's not English British. People love what's it called? What does it have? A lot of other things. It's not specific. I feel like British food is different cultures' food. It's different if you want to try English food. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yes.
So English and British is different.
What is American food?
I don't know, all of them. I don't know.
This is the same thing. Do you understand?
But that's
have different cultures within that particular...
Yeah, so even like with America, so because so for example, like with Britain, originally I guess it was white. Let's just say it was white, right? White English. Then obviously they started other cultures and stuff like coming in here, and then now the nation is how we see it, diverse in the way it is. With America, isn't it from the inception, basically, black people have been there?
Yeah.
So that's why it can't, like, that's why I feel like American cuisine can be that, but then British can't, because you'd have to differentiate and say English food, not
American
British
cuisine
food.
Can be what? As in black?
It can be a mixture of different cultures.
It is. And honestly, I want to clarify what it is that my intent was in sending, because I'm obviously the one who sent you these videos. Mm-hmm. I think the bigger argument and why this matters in the grander scheme of the whole diaspora war conversation, at least from what I'm gathering, is people always say that Black Americans don't have culture. And the few things that are exclusive to just African American culture, they don't even get to claim that it's theirs without it being an argument in the diaspora. Does that make sense? So this to me felt like, even the tone in the chat about how we have our own soul food, this conversation is nonsense. Like, case in fucking point. Like, nobody tells y'all when y'all are arguing about your culture's food, no, we have a version of this. This is ours. You're doing up diaspora. Like, no, like I don't understand why, if we can, yes, while we do share similarities and while we all do come from the same place, why people don't understand the difference in culture. One can argue that Caribbean food has West African roots, but do we not have differentiation in the different kinds of Caribbean food?
That's because
the same thing is happening
in Trinidad. We're mixed with Indian as well. Do you understand? So it's not just a case of uninterrupted dietary cuisine. It's infused. It's like jumbled up, and it takes its own path.
But that's what I'm agreeing with you. We know that to be Trinidadian food, but that's what these Americans are saying. What they coined their food as, We don't have a country to call our own, and obviously, you know what I mean by we. So their term for their food it doesn't fall under American food because it's not something that is just out to all Americans, but specific to a certain region of where Black people were concentrated when this type of food were originated, where it grew from. So I don't understand if you can understand what that Trinidad has its own food, Jamaica has its own food, all of which, you know, why is it different here?
Yeah, I might be like all the way confused. I think there's so many different points of focus, and like we're kind of talking two different things, but we shouldn't really be looking for the differences in what we're saying and most of the similarities, in my opinion anyway. Why I say that is, I think when I first heard soul food, I immediately wanted to know what was on that table. When I saw what was on that table, I saw a lot of West Indian influence. And it makes sense because you have West Indians in America. But I also understand how a West African might be like, okay, what's soul food? We definitely don't call it soul food over here, right? We don't call our food soul food. So let me see what's on the table. And then when you look at the table, I think there is more difference between West African food and soul food than West Indian food and soul food.
Okay.
If just in its preparation. Do y'all have macaroni pie?
No, that's y'all's thing. Similar to macaroni and cheese, but it's different in preparation, which makes it cultural.
I'm
No,
aware.
he's asking Nigerian.
Yeah. Do you, as in Esther, not Stacey?
No, we there's some salads we can make in macaroni, but no, we don't have a macaroni and cheese.
Do y'all go for fried chicken like that?
No,
I don't think so.
No, we do actually. Yeah, but it's like
that.
But it's like it's not in the way that it's a standalone thing like that. So ours is like you fry the chicken to be in the stew. Do you get what I mean? So we don't have fried chicken that we just eat.
Precisely. How about cornbread?
No.
And I don't think y'all do.
No,
so
we don't.
Where I am more a little puzzled with, I could say this is soul food over here, and I'll be like, if it is that you want me to basically clarify further, it's food that hits my soul. You understand? When I finish eating, I'm gone.
But that's it. You can't use that description because Jennifer hits my soul.
Yeah. but and that's because so many things on that particular table, I see it on my mother effing table.
Yeah.
Y'all are taking soul food and making it, the food hits my soul, when it's like, that's not what it means.
No, don't, let's not go back down that road. I've already said I don't really care about this back and forth.
No, he's just excited to say
yeah.
soul.
If it's just to connect to them and feel like I'm at home, that's why I'm saying what I'm saying. Yeah. We got soul food too. Do you understand? If they've never been to Trinidad and they're wondering if they're going to basically like eat well, I'll be like, the stuff that's on your table that you call soul food, there are many of the things on our table with a little bit of difference sprinkled in. There's more in common with West Indian cuisine, especially when you talk about soul food, than there is with West African. And I'm saying West African now because Esther's in the room. So yeah,
I just have to say the chat is so deplorable. It's disgusting to read.
What they doing?
It is. I like if we inserted someone else's culture into this, and obviously I've already said that I'm African. Like I'm not. I'm not a descendant of slaves, so this is not my personal culture. But if we inserted anyone else's culture into this same equation, everyone will be screaming, crying, and throwing up. I don't say, oh yeah, what do you call it? What's something, Esther, for example, what's something that you eat in Nigerian culture that the ingredients or a variation of it exists in, say, America? Oh, rice. There we go. If somebody says, oh yeah, we make our own jollof rice, it's called jambalaya, would you not say no? That's not jollof rice.
But that's a good example. Jambalaya is not anything like
yes,
jollof
it
rice.
is.
Hold up.
Yes, it is.
Liar.
Quite literally the derivative of
It's like
jollof rice.
paella. So my white friends, when I talked about jollof rice, they were like, "Oh, like paella." I said no.
It's quite literally a derivative of jollof rice.
Paella
Okay,
is
so let me just look at this because this is what I know
Is that what I'm saying?
jambalaya
Right,
to look
paella.
like, right?
Paella.
This looks like paella to me.
That is paella.
This doesn't look like jollof rice to me.
Yeah, that's.
And you say it's a
It's
derivative?
quite literally a derivative.
I don't believe this. This is not accurate.
That is a paella, if anything. Or it looks like jollof rice with a fried rice mindset.
Yo, this is like a one pot. Jollof rice is not a one pot.
Shouldn't be. People try to.
Stacey, speak. I don't agree with what you just said.
Are you asking me?
Yeah, I don't agree with what you just said.
I already told you. It is. That is the soul food derivative of jollof rice.
Why do you say it is? If it is that you have like shrimp and stuff in it, and meat and peas and.
Because jollof rice is plain.
So what are you talking about?
Please Google it.
Wait, are you now Googling it?
No, I'm telling you to Google it because I know this as a fact. It's you.
It's on the screen.
What are you talking about? I'm looking at it, Stacey.
I'm saying, can you Google the history of jambalaya and its relation to jollof rice? I'm saying that my whole point has been all these things, they are inspired. The enslaved people at the end of the day came from West Africa. What we're saying is soul food, while inspired by West African meals, because that is where the slaves came from, the differences in those meals come from the culture that was built and developed here by Black people.
Jambalaya is a dish that originated in New Orleans, Louisiana in the 18th century. It's a blend of African, Spanish, French, Native American, and Caribbean cooking styles. What are we doing?
Thank you.
You said thank you.
Did you say thank you?
Yes, you did.
Anyway, we had talking about two different things then.
No, we're not.
Was it what you showed on the screen?
I can't see what's on the screen because it's delayed on my TV.
Oh.
I can't see it.
Google jambalaya.
I'm literally Googling it.
Because what came up is paella.
I searched, is jambalaya a derivative of jollof rice?
And what did it say? Yes.
It says yes. Is influenced by jollof rice, a West African dish. Jambalaya is Cajun and Creole dish that is made with rice, meat, and vegetables. Jollof rice is a one-pot dish made with rice, tomatoes, and spices.
A one-pot? Is that what jollof rice is? Is jollof rice a one-pot? What are we doing?
Because what you explained to me, one pot was one time. It ain't jollof rice. Jollof rice.
I just explained to you the difference in where the meal pivoted. We talked about the relationship between soul food and West African food, right?
So the
argument initially was
the fact there's rice in it?
Exactly.
But she's saying that the history of jambalaya comes from is influenced by jollof rice. So they've taken jollof rice and they made it their own essentially, which has now created a new dish.
Exactly.
So that's because this is the point she was trying to make with this, in saying that if I looked at that, I wouldn't call it jollof rice because it's not. However, though, the history of it came from jollof rice, and in the culture, they've made it their own. Basically,
what you're just telling me is that you take a standard, a basic, which is rice, and then you put stuff in it. Do you know how many different countries have a base of rice, and then they put stuff in it? Do they then say it's from bloody Nigeria, jollof?
No,
do they say pilau is from Nigeria?
It can't be because
jollof?
It's a different color. It might be from fried rice though.
Nah, I'm not on the boat with this one, Stacey. I'm sorry.
I just said the entire argument of this is that while it is recognized, because someone also in the chat said it's very weird how Black Americans try to disassociate from the roots of where this food comes from. Black Americans know exactly where the roots of this food come from. There are a lot of parallels between things that are made in soul food and West African food. And what I've been trying to explain the entirety of this conversation is what makes it soul food and not we have our own soul food because we use the same ingredients, is that it's where the food takes its own turn and becomes its own culture, has its own cultural identity, is how the food was evolved when the enslaved people made these dishes with what they had here.
I get that. That makes sense.
And when they're telling you they're offended by someone saying, we have our own version of your food here, you're taking it as, we have food that feels good to our soul. No, that is what we use to, that is the term for our cultural food. And so when you say you have your own version of our cultural food, surely they're going to be offended. And for someone in the people in the chat to say, y'all just want to be different, y'all just want to make yourselves feel important, you're always fighting diaspora wars. It's their culture. We tell people, Black people all the time, yes, you do have roots in Africa, but understand the beauty of the culture that was developed, your culture that was developed in America, despite the circumstances. Then when they try to argue with it and they take pride argue to keep their pride about it, this is the tone that people take. It's weird. That's why Black people around the world can't be united. Because that's how y'all talk about African Americans. It's weird. And I don't have to be African American to understand that.
I think
that's why I asked. I didn't come into it being argumentative. I asked. I don't understand what's not clicking when people are coming into the comments of that particular video being offended. I didn't start having an argumentative tone. I was curious as to whether y'all actually thought there was such thing as having your own soul food.
So sorry, do you think it is possible to have people's version, other cultures can have their own version of soul food, or do you not think then that is?
It's only because that last thing you said, obviously, just
because
gone. I don't. I don't think people can have their own version of soul food. I think, like I said in the video, it's very clear that the lady is conflating the term soul food with culture.
I get what you mean now. I get why you brought up the what's it called, jambalaya thing, because yes, it might have originated from jollof rice, but looking at it, it is not jollof rice. So essentially, other cultures can say that they got food. No, if you let me finish my words. So other cultures can say that. So essentially, what they call their own version of soul food should be called something different because it's not soul food, basically.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm
There's a reason why. There's a reason why jambalaya.
Brent,
no,
let
but
her
I
finish
was speaking
speaking.
to you.
Let her finish. I can't hear you.
Go on, Stacey.
Sorry, Stacey.
There's a reason why when you read the description of what jambalaya is, it says it's a combination of African, French, and Caribbean cuisine. New Orleans used to be a French territory. New Orleans is part of the South. There were slaves there. Where did the slaves come from? Africa. We're combining the three cultures. That is what soul food is. So what I've been trying to say all this time, Trinidadian food, Jamaican food, we understand that there are roots. There are people from these countries that also have roots in West Africa. There are a lot of foods in those cuisines that have some type of variation in West African food. Do we tell y'all, oh, you have your own version of Nigerian food when you say Trinidadian food or Jamaican food? No, we recognize it as Trinidadian or Jamaican food because it took a turn culturally and built its own cultural identity when it grew and developed there.
Question.
Yeah.
I can't talk at all. Go on, Esther.
Go on. What's your question? What do you have to say?
I don't think I disagree with what she's saying. I don't think I ever have disagreed with what she's saying. I think I gave my point of view as to how I kind of see soul food.
Yeah.
And I would never call food I eat a soul food, right? But if an American says they're coming to England, can they stay with me? I say, yeah. And then they say, do you have food I can eat over there? I said, what do you mean? Well, I'm used to eating soul food. I'm like, you be fine over here.
Yeah, we got soul food.
And I wouldn't say that. Just I may say that.
You will definitely say that.
I may say that, but she'll be fine. Why does it have to be a woman? He'll be fine. They'll be fine. They'll be fine.
That's
Go spot, shout out. Pew, 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 pew. They'll be they'll be fine over here because my particular table is gonna have things that she feels is familiar. Go.
Question though. So with soul food, if it came from like slavery times and stuff like that, and the slaves, the black slaves, put your hand down, Brent. But they came from like the Caribbean and stuff like that. So wouldn't it be what they, I guess, the soul food they had back there?
I told you that I personally don't call it soul food. I don't do that.
What do you call it?
I just call it food. I just call it food.
Do you get what I'm trying to say? So I guess the history of it could be from the Caribbeans who were enslaved in the States.
I'm sure there is food that is inspired by that.
When you say Caribbeans that were enslaved in the States, you're talking about the ones that, when it is that they were ported to the Caribbean, they were exchanged to go and work on the plantation in the States? Because remember, we are displaced Africans. Caribbeans
basically, I'm just saying that
Black Caribbeans.
What I'm saying is that, so we obviously Africans don't have soul food. Like there's no,
No,
my African
that's
culture. Let me
different.
not speak for everybody.
Yeah.
But as for me, in my
Yeah, yeah,
Nigerian household, that we don't have a version of what we see as what we know as soul food, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You, however, who's Caribbean, does.
Yeah, yeah.
And obviously, so some of your people who were taken to the American lands as slaves, right? Were they not?
When you say something about people were taken to, remember, we are Africans, right?
I get that, but then, so there was no Caribbean. I feel like this. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore.
The original, the original people were Arawak Indians.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Never mind. I started off this conversation how I really feel
Sorry,
about this
can Noreen said something in the chat?
Yeah.
She said, what do you call it? Let me even find the comment because I don't want to misquote her. She said something about there being Black British food, and I'm curious to know, is that a thing? Oh, yeah. She said there's something about Black British food, and I'm curious to know what that means, because she said we say Black British food, but Americans want to tell us there's no such thing. As an American, I would like to know, outside of this topic, is there such thing, and what does that look like?
Stacey, I would like to know too, Noreen.
What is Black
British food? Every Black British food I can think about is Afro-Caribbean food.
What is unique?
Exactly, because that would be my take, but I don't live there for me to stand on business from that take. Because my understanding is the Black people who live in the UK are very much not very far removed from what culture they're from, so their food wouldn't necessarily fall under Black British; it would just fall under their cultural food.
Yeah.
Am I wrong?
What is Black British food?
Would it be? And I'm spitballing here.
Of course.
Would it be, you know how you have baked beans?
Yeah.
And how English prepare baked beans?
And how we season our baked beans.
And how you spruce up.
So seasoned. So basically, Black British food is British food seasoned. Do you know what? Fair. But even then, it's just British food cooked by a Black person.
Because you get the British food anywhere else in the world.
You know.
Just imagine if that's what she's talking about.
Because Noreen, what is Black British food?
She will let us know. She will let us know.
Yeah, Noreen, please let us know what Black British food is. Because every Black British food I think about is Afro-Caribbean food. And it's either because people are African or the Caribbean.
People never denied.
Literally, when I go to the Caribbean shop and I get oxtail rice, it's eaten in an African home. That's Afro-Caribbean food.
I also never denied that there's any Caribbean influence on Black food, but I think
no, you didn't. Yeah.
Soul food specifically, there isn't that much. Like, it's not one of the major things, but I recognize that it's a combination of things. So I can't 100% say that option is rooted out. I don't know, but my whole point. Go ahead, Esther.
Well, I think people are mean to Black Americans, African Americans.
Haiti's in the Caribbean.
That's my point. It's weird. Like,
Haitians are Caribbean, mind you.
Okay.
Right.
I don't know what's going to be what we're talking about.
No, the influence.
They have a huge presence.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I think, because you know what it is, and I think I might have nailed why it is that they're mean to African Americans. Because over here,
who's mean?
I think British people are very mean to African Americans,
and vice versa, right?
Yeah, but I feel like they're doing from a defensive mode.
You think? Come, talk to me. Let's talk.
Because you know what it is? I feel like with Americans, like Black Americans anyway, people kind of make the throwaway comments of like, you're not really from there, and those kind of comments, right? Like, you guys don't really know your roots and all that kind of stuff. But then, like, our history here in Britain is different to what their kind of history is over in America.
Sorry, are you speaking from your personal experience?
Yeah, so obviously Caribbean people is different because all that stuff. It's different Caribbean people. But I think from my experience, I guess with Africans, but then even then, I feel people look at African Americans with the same lens they look at how your parents intentionally, obviously some people's parents intentionally came here to live here. Do you know what I'm trying to say? And they just assume that African Americans have done the same thing, but they've intentionally chosen to neglect, quote unquote, their roots. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
I think
I was just going to bring this up because Bathroom Diaries just made a point about that in the chat. And she said, not going to lie, a lot of African Americans are mad ignorant. They be like, I'm not African. I could be from Egypt. And I'm like, huh. Can you blame them?
But this is what I'm talking about.
Because when they want to go and I think there is a level of ignorance that is like flat out ignorant out here. But I think that it's something that deserves a little bit of grace, because you have to understand cultural erasure was a part of slavery. What culture did they have to go back to? If they go to Africa right now, what culture are they returning to? It's like you keep saying Black people don't know where they come from, but it's like, okay, where they come from, their roots, the roots that they can trace, is American, and they understand that there's more culture that dates back to it. But I feel like when we say things like that, it's almost like they should deny the culture that was built out of the circumstances of how their people got here. Like, we
that's
can
exactly what I
understand
mean.
the roots without understanding the difference, while still understanding the difference between the two. And the tone people have when they go about it shouldn't be, while there is ignorance in that, it shouldn't be considered ignorant for them to want to be referred to as the culture that has been in their family for generations, that they know and can trace, and that is most relevant in their day-to-day life, down to their cooking, down to the religious practices, down to the music. Like, that is the culture that was birthed out of that circumstance. Why is it ignorant to be proud of that?
And that's exactly what I mean. Yeah.
The same way when our African moms out here are annoyed when they have to check off African American. Technically, because they are Africans who came to America, they are African American, but to them, they're not denying their roots because they can trace it. I am African. Their generations before them came from, at least mine, my mom gets annoyed all the time. I'm Kenyan. My mom is born and raised in Kenya. My mom's mom, and the generations back, we can trace. We are African.
Hi guys, morning.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Come on.
Sensational.
Come on.
Sorry, you take that sensational thing off the board.
No.
It throws me off.
Wait a minute.
I keep thinking there's someone on Discord.
Darius, do you like this?
Sensational.
What the hell is that?
It's future, man. Sensational.
It's a bit weird, but okay, it's cool.
It's a bit weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm gonna make it a thing. Sorry. What are your thoughts, Bath Darius?
Okay. So in reply to Stacey, the reason why I said that, and what I've learned online as well, because I used to be on this streaming thing called Bigo, and I just heard a lot of Americans. And the thing is, we are in 2025, so it is like education. You can just educate yourself on YouTube. And what I mean by that is that I feel like a lot of African Americans, they do not want to really be associated with Africa at all. And it's just like they'll be like, I'm mixed, but I'm mixed with Indian, and it's like, I'm not being funny, but a lot of Black people from the Americas, including the Caribbean, probably have 10% of a different race, but it's like they cling and hold on to the fact that they are not African, and that's what I feel is very weird. So it's like there's a lot of ignorance because no one is actually willing to be like, actually, maybe obviously we're not, like me from the Caribbean, I'm not gonna know where exactly I'm from West Africa. Like, yeah, maybe loads of places when you do that ancestry.com, but what I see from Americans is just a lot of, they're very loud and ignorant with it. It's not like a humble, like, oh, I don't know, I could be mixed with this, or, you know, it's always like, oh yeah, I got Cherokee blood, oh yeah, my hair's like this. Or there was an argument about, I think there was this hairdresser that said African hair is like totally different from African American hair. It's like African hair is thicker and it's more stronger, and it's just like, guys, we're very, very similar. You know what I mean? So it's like, I just feel like there's a lot of. What do you mean it's a fact?
African American hair is different from African hair.
How?
Everyone does have their own different textures, but there is a mix of cultures that happens with a lot of African Americans. There are a lot of African Americans whose ancestry comes from sexual assault of their slave masters, and they're mixed with white. That alters their hair texture.
Look at Africa,
there are
West
African Americans who are
African
mixed.
People have a lot of different textured hair as well. A lot of Ghanaians.
I said that. I started by saying that.
Oh, so I'm confused.
I started by saying that a lot of different African cultures have their different hair textures, but that still is a difference when it comes to African Americans because it's mixed with other things. So how would that be factually incorrect to say African American hair is different from African hair?
Because they're trying to say basically, well, that woman specifically was trying to say that African people have like basically tough 4C hair, whereas African American have mixed hair, when actually a lot of us just have different textured hair in general. So it's that separation again. It's not the like united, like, yes, we all have different textures and it ranges. And obviously we know the the threes and the fours, but it's a separation of trying to separate themselves to be like Africa. We are not African. They are so different. And it's like, actually, we're very similar. And the more you talk to different people from different countries, the more you travel, you realize actually we're all just very similar.
I can understand you calling it ignorant for people to not be aware that there are a plethora of different hair textures that exist in Africa.
I don't want
Yes,
to focus on the hair texture. I was
have
just thinking about the roots as
the
well.
privilege of being African, so I have and growing up African American, so I understand both sides of the coin. What I don't agree with, and I can also see the argument that people might say that there could be some connotation there that it might be implied that someone is calling African hair more difficult sometimes in that argument, and I can also say that and understand that and say yes, that is wrong. What I don't like though is when we have conversations like this, and as soon as Black people start to point out how their culture has its own specific difference, it becomes separation. Like, why do we put the negative connotation of separation when there is indeed distinct differences, just as there is with other cultures and their distinct cultural differences, even though they might be rooted in a similarity?
I get that, but with the distinct bit, what do you mean? Because obviously I was just talking about the hair stuff and obviously the food. I get the food issue, but what do you mean? Because obviously in everything there's distinct different, like in the whole world there's differences and similarities. Do you get me?
Yeah, but I'm saying, why is it that when Black people point out the specific parts that make their hair texture different, and I remember I also I disclaim that I get that sometimes when that argument is being made, it's being made in a way to make African hair seem tougher or worse, but I don't think that's the case all the time. Um,
Mm-hmm.
what do you call it? It's weird that when Black people, African Americans, start pointing out the differences when it comes to specifically Black people, Black culture, the Black experience, we put it under separation. And y'all want to be separate from the diaspora. Y'all don't want any relation to Africa. When it's like, no, that's just a cultural difference. The same way Nigerians have cultural differences to South Africans, the same way South Africans have cultural differences to Egyptians. But when they point it out, we're all African, but cultural.
Well, there's nothing wrong with being proud, but it can just come across as not humble. Whereas I feel like Black British people, we kind of tend to be more humble with the way we communicate. So it can come across like, oh my God, this person is being a bit loud, and why are you trying to prove a point? Because I guess culturally different Americans are quite loud and proud, and with Black British people we are quite humble. So it's like, okay, you're making your point. What is there more to it? Like, what are you, like the tones, like what are you trying to say, kind of thing. So it comes across as a bit defensive. It's like you guys come across defensive in your points rather than being like, yeah, I'm proud and this. It's more like, trying to be. There's nothing wrong with being different, but it just comes across a bit rude. I'm not gonna
But
lie.
is that not, and this is me asking, I'm generally not trying to be combative, is that defensive tone not justified when the history of their culture is rooted in cultural erasure?
But
And
I'm
the essence of the conversation when they're trying to point out their differences is you're trying to override it by saying, no, we're the same. And they're trying to defend their cultural differences so it doesn't in turn get drowned out and erased again. Like, obviously, I'm going to be defensive about that.
I get you, but me from being from the Caribbean and also having that issue as well to an extent, that's where I don't relate, because it's like, okay, we're also Caribbean people are also misplaced, especially when you're in England. It's like, okay, you go to the Caribbean, like, oh, like, you're the English person, you come to England, you're the Caribbean person, and then you kind of feel this like, who am I? Where am I from? And then you do a DNA test and you're like, oh my God, I'm not, like, what? It's confusing. So as someone from the Caribbean, it's like, I don't get why the Americans can come across like that, because like I said, it's just sometimes it's very ignorant. It's like, you can actually just read, you can actually go on YouTube, you can actually learn, but it's just,
So let me ask you a question. You said you're Caribbean, right?
Yeah.
Where are you from?
So I'm from St. Vincent and Dominica.
If I tell you, if I ask you right now, are you African? Are you going to say yes? Or does it
I have
go without
African
saying
roots.
that your roots are African?
Well, I wouldn't claim that I'm African, because then someone would be like, where in Africa are you from? I'll be like, I'm Caribbean. So I acknowledge, of course I'm African. I've got African roots, but I wouldn't be like straight out I'm African, because
And that goes
where
without saying, because we understand that people from where you're from Black people from where you're from have roots in Africa. So you don't necessarily have to say whenever you're asked where you're from, oh, I'm African. You don't have to lead with that or end with that. You just say where you're from, right?
Yeah.
Why is that different for African Americans if it goes without saying that their roots are from enslaved people who are African.
I'm not saying that they have to say they're from Africa. I'm just saying when the conversation is brought up, like where they're really from, there's a conversation. They're like, I am not African. I'm not African. I'm mixed. I'm Indian. And I'm like, okay, like that's my point.
I can't say what your experience is, but I haven't come across Black people who have said I don't understand
I
that.
have. I literally did. I was in a whole conversation. That's why I'm saying I'm not saying it out of like me just making stuff up. I literally was in a conversation and they were like, "Oh, we could be from Egypt. We could," and I'm like, "That is still part of Africa." And all of these, it was just a conversation, innit? And it was just really ignorant. And I was just like, "Oh my gosh!" But that's from a conversation that I heard, like 4 to 5 people talking. Obviously, they don't represent the whole of America, but I'm just saying.
I don't want people to take me advocating for this as me not understanding that when people say Black people deny their roots, my understanding of that is Black people know that they come from Africa. I feel like what they're denying is their association to African culture. They don't know anything about it. This thing of you can pick up a book and read, you need to learn history. In America, we do not learn African American history beyond slavery. And
But
yes,
you
you can
can
say
learn though.
somebody
Everyone can learn
can do.
TikTok dances. You can learn. There's so many different TikTok things about African history. Like that's what I'm saying. It's like we're in 2025. Like
I
you can
understand
actually
that.
learn. There's
I
no
understand that,
excuse.
but I
Especially
also
if
think
you're in
that
your 20s
there,
and above.
go ahead.
So I was just saying, if you're in your 20s and above, there's actually no excuse now. Like we are so forward thinking. There's access to a lot of stuff. Do you know what I mean?
Why do we
So
expect everybody to know the history of the world and every detail of it?
it's not about the history of the world. It's basically where you're from and if you're interested.
But
Do you know
Black
what I
people
mean?
know their history.
But they don't.
They
They haven't
do.
tried to. What do you
They
mean? I'm
do.
confused. I'm confused because your point is saying that why do we expect everyone to know geography and their history and stuff?
Okay.
Saying that they do know their stuff. So what is it? They don't or they
Let,
do?
they do. Let's parallel it to what we were just describing earlier about you being Caribbean and you understanding that you have African roots, but you are Caribbean. Do you know what part of Africa your roots trace back to?
No, I haven't done the test. No.
Okay, so there's that. If you were
I'm not
to trace your,
denying that I'm from Africa. That's the point. I'm not
but
denying that.
they're not either. But I'm saying if you were, let's just say your roots were to be in Ghana, is there an expectation that you're supposed to know Ghanaian history? But
No,
you know your
I would
Caribbean
want to
history.
know where in Ghana I'm from. Like if there's like different tribes and all that stuff, I would want to
But
research more and
but
find out.
is it to be expected that you know Ghanaian history given that that's your roots? Or would it not make more sense for you to know your Caribbean history because that is the roots that you can trace? Black people know their African American history. So for this expectation that they should also know not just African American history, but
No,
the
I
roots that
don't
they
think
don't
it's
even
an
know and can't
expectation.
trace is
It's
insane.
not an expectation, it's the denial. That's what I'm talking about. I don't expect, of course, I don't expect the whole of Africa. Like, that's silly to have that expectation for them to actually know their roots. But my thing is always just a negative connotation when it comes to Africa. There's a denial of being from Africa. There's more preference on being mixed, being Indian, being something other than African. So that's my point. I don't expect expectations throw expectations out the window in general, but I just don't like the denial.
All right, both of you are
The negative
correct.
connotation of
There are
Africa.
people in America, Black people in America, who like what Bathroom Diaries is talking about, and then there are people in America like what Stacey's talking about. I think that you all have had a fantastic back and forth, but we definitely need to get on with the show.
Can I just say one more
You can
thing,
have
Brent?
final thoughts. I was going to say
It's
that.
quick.
You can basically say your final thoughts, and then Bathroom Diaries will say your final thoughts, and then we can push on.
Yeah, I think too. There's also, and I can understand where maybe Bathroom Diaries is talking about people saying, "Oh, I'm mixed with Indian," or I think that's something that happened a lot, like in the. I don't even want to put it on a certain time period, but I imagine the same thing happened with you guys when it was quote unquote cool to be mixed, and a lot of Africans were claiming to be Jamaican. Or I think that also had its own variation in America, and people were claiming things that they're not. And I don't think at least me living and being here all my life, that is a minority experience. That's not to say that you guys didn't experience. So I don't want to invalidate the run-ins that you guys have had with ignorant African Americans. But for the most part, African Americans out here very much understand where their roots. They understand that they come from enslaved people who are African. Unfortunately, cultural erasure didn't allow them to know specifically where they came from, to be able to learn more and absorb more about their culture. And I think those who do have that interest often are shut down by a lot of the attitudes that they see with, honestly, a lot of people who that share similar sentiments in the chat. African Americans are ignorant. It's a lot of denial, and that's not necessarily encouraging. But in the same breath, I think they can have that curiosity while also taking pride in the culture that they built or their ancestors built in America. And they don't deserve to be, again, fall into that whole erasure thing when they're trying to defend their culture. They are right, in my opinion, to be defensive about it. And this is the tone that they're met with often. It just doesn't make sense to me. And I think that contributes more in us not being together as Black people. Like you can be there, you can be together while also understanding each other's differences. And it's just, to me, distasteful when that's the tone that people are met with. And I think a lot of Americans would very much understand what I'm talking about. I didn't come into this conversation wanting to argue. I was just curious to know if that's genuinely what you guys thought. So
thanks,
I
Stacey.
disagree. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm joking.
Sensational.
Love you guys. I
Sensational.
agree, Stacey, completely with what you're saying, and I love long TDA. So woohoo!
Girl.
You
Stretch the
wicked,
show out.
wicked
Stretch the
woman.
show out, guys. Take care, guys.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Stacey, as well. Because Stacey definitely helped with the topic of the day, bro.
120%.
I was just gonna say I don't care and move on.
Imana has in the show notes, say things to get Stacey up.
not have to be baited. What the hell?
Well, it would.
He told me to come and call in this morning. I didn't need bait.
Have you been watching from the start of the show, Stacey?
Yeah, and what's funny?
No. Remember when I was having a conversation with Brent about him being a liar?
I was pissed because I didn't. Clocks are not changed.
Brent, imagine Brent pressing this transition so everybody else isn't here. Anyway, girl, you know who this man is.
I literally thought the episode was canceled today. I didn't know that you guys don't have daylight savings starting today.
Oh, doesn't that start?
Oh yeah, I was told.
End of March.
Yeah, you guys started at 1 a.m. for us. So I sat the whole midnight hour like, damn, E-Man could have at least told me that y'all weren't doing
daylight saving.
Yeah, it's 3 a.m. here. We're 7 hours apart right now.
Oh, that's funny because then when we change, I think is the 30th Sunday, then I think you go back then to maybe the original time.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think we go.
Anyway, yeah.
Are we going backwards or forwards again? We're going backwards.
Forward. Bring forward.
Yeah.
Fall back.
What a mess. All right, thank you, girl, anyway.
Yeah.
All right, more headlines. There's a lot. Okay, Syria's leader, Ahmed al-Shara, has vowed to hold anyone involved in harming civilians accountable after days of clashes where Syrian security forces allegedly killed hundreds of civilians from the Alawite religious minority. A UK-based monitor said 830 civilians were killed in massacres targeting Alawites on the... Am I saying that right?
Nail it.
On the West Coast on Friday and Saturday. The BBC has been unable to independently verify the death toll of the violence, which is believed to be the worst since the fall of the Assad regime. In a speech broadcast on national TV and posted on social media, Shara, whose rebel movement toppled Bashar al-Assad in December, also promised to hunt down Assad loyalists. The fighting has also killed 231 members of the security forces and 250 pro-Assad fighters, according to the Monitor. And according to the Monitor, the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights, SOHR, taking the overall death toll to 1,311. Early on Sunday, he announced on Telegram that an independent committee had been formed to investigate the violations against civilians and identify those responsible for them. He also appealed for national unity, but did not comment directly on accusations that atrocities were being committed by his supporters in the coastal provinces of Latakia and Tartus. Our next headline: Israel is to cut off any remaining electricity supplies to Gaza in an apparent attempt to ramp up pressure on Hamas amid increasingly chaotic multi-track negotiations over the fragile ceasefire in the territory. The potential consequences of the Israeli decision for the 2.3 million residents of the devastated Palestinian territory are unclear, as most rely on diesel-fueled generators for power. But humanitarian officials in Gaza contacted on Sunday afternoon said they thought the two functioning desalination plants would be forced to shut down, reducing the already meager, supply of clean water. Others have suggested the remaining sewage treatment plants could be affected. In a video announcing the directive, Eli Cohen, Israel's energy minister, said that Israel would use all means available to ensure the return of all Israeli hostages and that Hamas would not remain in Gaza after the war. Hamas accused Israel of cheap and unacceptable blackmail over its decision. We strongly condemn the occupation's decision to cut off electricity to Gaza after depriving it of food, medicine, and water. Izzat al-Rishk, a member of Hamas's political bureau, said in a statement, adding it was a desperate attempt to pressure our people and their resistance through cheap and unacceptable blackmail tactics. Israel is seeking to force Hamas to accept an extension until mid-April of the first phase of the ceasefire, which came into effect in mid-January but ended formally last weekend. Israel has already cut off all supplies of goods to the territory, claiming that Hamas was stealing aid and profiting from its distribution. And our last headline in this part of the show: hackers thought to be working for the North Korean regime have successfully cashed out at least $300 million of their record-breaking $1.5 billion crypto heist. The criminal known as Lazarus Group swiped a huge haul of digital tokens in a hack on crypto exchange Bybit 2 weeks ago. Since then, it's been a cat and mouse game to track and block the hackers from successfully converting the crypto into usable cash. Experts say the infamous hacking team is working nearly 24 hours a day, potentially funneling the money into the regime's military development. Every minute matters for the hackers, who are trying to confuse the money trail, and they are extremely sophisticated in what they're doing, says Dr. Tom Robinson, the co-founder of crypto investigators Elliptic. Out of all the criminal actors involved in cryptocurrency, North Korea is the best at laundering crypto, Dr. Robinson says. Elliptic's analysis tallies with Bybit, which says that 20% of the funds have now gone dark, meaning it is unlikely to ever be recovered. The US and allies accuse the North Koreans of carrying out dozens of hacks in recent years to fund the regime's military and nuclear development. On the 21st of February, the criminals hacked one of Bybit's suppliers to secretly alter the digital wallet address that 401,000 Ethereum crypto coins were being sent to. Bybit thought it was transferring the funds to its own digital wallet, but instead sent it to all the hackers. Ben Zhu, the CEO of Bybit, assured customers that none of their funds had been taken. The firm has since replenished the stolen coins with loans from investors, but is, in Zhu's words, waging war on Lazarus. And it's time to pay the bills.
You did amazing there. Thank you very much.
It's just some of my words. Let's get into it on the road. Sorry. Oh, this is so sad because I was meant to talk about this on Friday, but Friday was such a heavy show. But Dwayne Wiggins from Tony, the band, sadly passed away. And it's sad because on Friday I was actually going to report that his family and his bandmates had asked for people to pray for him because he was going through difficult medical complications, and unfortunately found out on Saturday that he'd passed away. So RIP to that legend. They announced, saying on the Tony official page, they said, "With broken hearts, we share with you that our beloved Dwayne passed away this morning, surrounded by family and loved ones. Over the past year, he has been privately and courageously battling bladder cancer. Through this fight, he remained committed and present for his family, his music, his fans, and his community. Dwayne's life was incomparable, and his music and service impacted millions around the world, including in his hometown of Oakland, California. He was a guitarist, producer, composer, philanthropist, mentor, and founding member of Tony. He was deeply passionate about providing artist development and mentorship to emerging young musicians, helping to shape the early careers of many. For now, we ask that you continue to respect our privacy. We mourn with you and are deeply grateful for your love and support. In solidarity, the Wiggins family. That is very heartbreaking. R.I.P. to him. DDG over the weekend also called out Halle Bailey, his son Halo's mother, for basically not allowing him to see his child for months, which is a damn lie from the pits of hell because
Serious.
he's been live streaming with the kid. Live stream.
Straightening.
Do you haven't had that since the beginning of the show?
Yeah.
TDA.
Straightening.
Brent is dancing. He's
Yeah.
doing this. He's a live streamer. And he's live streaming that kid, I think it was 2 weeks ago or last week or something. Anyway, he tweeted and he deleted it. So he tweeted saying, I hate when people tweet. It's none of business.
The days are longer when you're not with your loved ones.
The child is sick and so is the mother. The child has got some kind of virus or something.
For 2 weeks.
They need to keep that shit to themselves. It's babies, their immune systems are like adults. Anyway, I don't like DDG. They clearly know there's no shame in my bias. I don't like the boy. And I really just think that he is just... Honestly, women have to be so intentional about who you procreate with because I can't imagine anything worse than procreating with a global yapper. This boy tweeted this, deleted it, then went live streaming, and on his live streams where he's talking about how Halle da. But also, I think the reason why I don't have any empathy for him, because first of all, he could obviously just go to court, blah, blah, blah. You talk about how rich you are all the time, go through the proper channels and do this. But also is that I think for me, I just lost interest in how he behaves because he intentionally went out of his way to sabotage her in the biggest moment of her career. And then you rapped about how you were jealous about it and you went out of your way to sabotage it. And I think people do this thing where when they do something evil, they think because they've admitted it, it makes it less evil because, oh my gosh, they're so honest. No, you're still a piece of shit for what you did. So...
Just a full circle.
What?
What line?
About lying.
And then admitting that line.
It's not full circle. It's not evil. But yeah, he's evil, and I'm just over it. I'm over his foolishness. I'm over seeing him. Every time DDD is trending about something, it's because he's talking about Halle. Like it's just stop now. Just stop. Because the other day I can't remember what he said about her a while ago, and then people were then cooking her, and then he said, "Oh no, that's my family. I don't play with her. I protect her." He's very, very performative, so no one will ever know what's really happening. Just shut up. Anyways. He says, been fighting to see my son for months now. That's a lie. You were with the kid 2 weeks ago. What do you mean you've been fighting to see him for months? And then you're there. He was the one who had the child that time his house got raided, where someone leaked his address online and the house got raided and whatnot.
To be honest, that could be true. He could be fighting to see him more. That could be what he meant.
Yeah, say that. He said, I've been fighting to see my son for months now. Not spend more time with my son, not see my son more for months. I've been fighting to see my son for months now. That speaks to somebody who has not had access to their child since last year. Because we're only third month into this country. This year.
It also could mean something else.
Okay. Shout out to all the dads who try their best to be there. This shit's shut up. Shut up. You're not like the other. You're 1 year into you being a dad. The girl wanted to hide her pregnancy. And not show the world a pregnancy. You were sneak recording her on Snapchat to show the world the pregnancy. Mad. You are the reason why everyone knew she was pregnant in the first place. Mad. Because you were taking these little what's it called? Sneaky pictures and whatever. She said she had the child. She wanted to keep the child off camera. What did you do? You made the child a meme. Every time you got chances against child labor laws. He's got the kid working. And he wants to see the child so that he can have the child in the live stream playing his dead music. The other day he was playing music for his child. Child kept taking the headphones off.
Imagine him showing him the hustle at age 1.
Oh.
At age 1.
Stop it, man. Poor kid just ruining his eardrums, having him around all sorts of women and whatnot because you're trying to make your ex jealous, having him in places where the house is being raided by the police and whatnot. The kid anything could happen. You've got the child in dangerous situations. Anything could happen. Regularly. He's very immature. Very. And just because you are a father of a child does not automatically make you what's it called? Make you mature. And even to then tag your silly motives to fathers who actually want to see their children, want to spend time with their children, and are being prevented for all sorts of reasons to see their children. Don't tag your situation to their cause. That's a real thing. That's a real struggle. That's a real thing with men who actually want to be present fathers and are not allowed for whatever many reasons, petty or whatever else it might be. Don't tag yourself to actual real people's situations. And some of these fathers don't even have money to go to court. You got so much money you keep bragging about. Go to court then. That being said, though, I do believe Hallie knows what she got herself with. I'm sorry, this whole thing of acting like, oh my gosh, this poor woman didn't know who she dealt with. Yes, people can switch up on you. Absolutely, that's true. But some of the stories that's come out about both of them and the way that both of them were acting and allegedly bullying people when they were together, equally yoked.
Question though, like, I don't know, sometimes my empathy is capped for women who go for certain types of guys.
Yeah.
And because obviously she has good PR, she's presented in a particular way.
Yeah.
So I don't know what happens behind closed doors, isn't it?
But that's what he's saying. He's saying that he's tired of protecting her good girl image and blah, 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 blah. And that's fair. If you don't want to protect that anymore, that's fair. But my thing is as well, reason my empathy is capped for Hallie as well, because for a while my empathy wasn't capped for her. But I've come to find out some of the things that allegedly they did in a relationship. For example, right, there was a girl who works in, I think it's Bottega, and he by himself came in to buy a jacket. Top was yapping his way with the girl, whatever, telling her she wants to shoot a video, blah, 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 blah. But she didn't have any clue who he was. She's like, okay, cool. She sells the jacket. She said it's one of the most expensive jackets they've got in the store. She obviously would get a great commission from it, blah, blah, blah. He buys the jacket, goes. Then he comes back, maybe like a few days or a couple weeks, whatever the case was afterwards. He wants to return the jacket. But she's like, I can't return it because first of all, the jacket smells like smoke. The jacket smells like strong perfume. It's clearly worn. It's against our policies and I cannot return the jacket for you, basically. He was there. He was there with Hallie. And apparently they were going back and forth and whatever. She's chiming in about the girl should take back the jacket. The girl's like, I can't do that. And then they were like, oh, you have no proof that he's worn it. She's like, actually, I do, because when he came last time, her colleagues were like, oh, do you know who that is? Blah, 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 blah. They showed me a picture. So she's followed him because she's like, oh, it'd be cool. So she's actually seen the music video that he's worn a jacket in. So she was like, actually, yeah, I do know that you worn a jacket. She gets her phone out, shows them the video of where she would, of him wearing a jacket, and they're like, "Oh, do you cheat with your customer?" They're basically playing their Hollywood status and being disrespectful to the girl, whatever. They leave. So, thankfully, her manager also backs her and is like, "Yeah, we're not returning the jacket." Blah blah. They end up going to another store and they got jacket returned or whatever. But beyond that, what happened was that this girl was then bullied for like over a month, because what he then did was went on his platform and basically said that the girl was racist and called him the N-word with a hard ER. I don't know how she didn't sue him. I wish someone would lie and say I did something I didn't do in such a manner, and I get bullied for over a month, and you don't think I'm gonna cash out.
Yeah.
Goodbye to Halo's trust fund. It's mine now. That's what I will be doing. So anyway, so she came on TikTok and talked about that story and whatever. For over a month or whatever, that's what happened. So my thing is as well, she would have seen him do stuff like that. You would have known that he was like that. Also, she obviously had the incident as well with the whole nail situation. I think I reported on it, and they called the girl. It's like, my thing is that into their relationship, I think they were together for like 3-4 years or whatever the case was. She would have seen glimpses at the very least of who this man is. So that's why my empathy is capped now, because he's an idiot. And also as well, she spent long enough time now to know that he's a clout chaser. Everything, that his entire job is streaming. So of course he's going to want to go online and talk about all these things. Empathy is capped for all parties involved. Don't really care. It is their business. But I don't have any empathy for him. Go to the courts. If you're a father who wants to see your child, go through the proper channels. Get a lawyer. Do these things. But apparently though, he's crashing out because she broke up with him, for one, and he's been salty about the breakup. He's upset that he's breaking up. Like, he's upset that they've broken up or whatever the case might be. And it might be for these bad things that she broke up with him. I don't know. But apparently, people are saying that the timing of him doing this whole thing is interesting because she was just, I think it was a Vanity Fair something, and she was with her old cast mate that played the prince in Little Mermaid, and they took pictures together, and that picture went viral, blah, 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 blah. So people are saying that essentially he's crashing out because, and he also did a diss song in which he talks about, oh, let me see my child and whatnot. But then he also sprinkles in there, you got to listen to the things people sprinkle into their words. He also sprinkles in there, I don't care who you're with, I don't care who you're sleeping with, I don't care. Everyone's a clown. Clowns all around. What else was I going to say? I was going to say something else about it. I don't know, it's a sign. I don't know. Well, there's a day that I know a lot of you that watch TDA never thought would happen.
Come on.
I certainly didn't think it would happen. I am denouncing my.
Chris Brown.
Yes, I am.
What? Oh, wait.
I am.
Wait.
I'm
Sensational.
trying to search.
Mask on, left it mask.
I am denouncing.
Never chasing, chase no mask on.
Yep.
Left it mask on.
Oh, you gonna play the track?
Chasing shit, never chasing.
When we gotta go.
Chase no.
I am denouncing my membership.
Wait. Let me turn around and face you. This is a moment.
It is a moment. It is a moment. It is definitely a moment.
We
And
are
I'll be
here.
honest with you, I couldn't wait to come on here and tell y'all.
I know another bloody song bite.
Go for it.
I'll get
Come
it for
to
tomorrow.
glory.
I'll get it for tomorrow.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. When he
I
do
could
it.
drop in hallelujah.
Absolutely.
American one from
You
the south.
go, you do
With
everything.
the eat soul food.
Do whatever you need to do.
Sensational.
Do whatever you need to do. Basically, over the weekend, Tory Lanez he's released songs or whatever else. But anyway, this is why I am no longer a Chris. And I actually need to unfollow him, actually. I forgot. Let me do it now. Let me do that right now. Right this moment. Because when Christopher Maurice Brown unfollowed. Yep, done. Not following anymore. It's blue now. When Christopher Maurice Brown did the things that he did to Rihanna and whatnot, and he was blacklisted and whatever, and he took some time away and he went to therapy and he did all that stuff. He said he did the self-work he needed to do for that. Do you get what I mean? Fair. Rihanna forgave him and everything, blah, 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 whatever. However, though, I did not know that still in this day and age, in 2025, he was going to be putting himself in a position where he's supporting an abuser. And I just don't play that game. I don't care who it is, I'm not playing that game. So basically what I'm talking about is that Tory Lanez released a song, perhaps. I don't listen to Tory Lanez. I don't look for it. I just go where I get information from, and that's enough for me. But basically, he shouted out Chris Brown, which for me, I feel like that's such a, why would you do that? Knowing what Chris Brown has dealt with in the past and whatnot, why would you do that? Why would you put him in that position again? But Tory Lanez is who Tory Lanez is, and he's having the day he deserves. And I just wish him nothing but the worst while he's in prison, right? He basically said that while he was going through, I'm going to tell you exactly what he said, actually. He said, Chris Brown came out of nowhere and gave me the money. He says, only real N-word that helped me was Chris Brown. Essentially, Chris Brown contributed to his legal fees for his case against his abuse of Megan Thee Stallion, against him shooting unarmed Megan Thee Stallion. And I just think that's just disgusting on all counts for everybody, all parties involved. So yeah, that's where I'm at.
Interesting. What I read from that is that his money was tapped out.
Yeah, well, yeah, that would probably explain why he keeps releasing this stupid music in prison. He needs the royalties. He needs the money keep coming in.
So he committed all of his funds to his legal fees, and he ran
For
out.
something he knows that he did.
And
Do you know how bad that is? Pride.
No, that makes sense to me, because it's self-preservation, isn't it?
Pride.
And then Chris Brown came in and said, "I got you."
And now I ain't got Chris Brown. So
this was the
final straw. This was it for me.
Wow.
Because I feel like the media did a lot with Chris Brown's image and all that kind of stuff, and even things that didn't involve Chris Brown, they would say friend of Chris Brown. Do you know what I mean? They really, really. But I just think for me, it speaks volumes. Do you know what I mean? There's no man in my life who could be fighting a case of domestic violence that you did, and I'm contributing to your legal fees or I'm doing any other. And I just think it's disgusting. So. That's just that on that.
Wendy Williams next?
No, I don't think so.
We'll see. You said the same for Chris Brown. You said the same thing for Chris.
You're right. You're right. You are so right. Who knows who's next?
Who knows?
It could be anybody.
Anybody.
Anyway, so that's what happened. That's that on that. Lighter news, in good news, Heady One and his long-time girlfriend or fiance. I said long time. Anything beyond 6 months in this climate, child, is long time. But yeah, they're engaged. So congratulations to him and his lovely fiance, Rookie. Yeah, congratulations. She's a chef. A chef, or she cooks. I feel like chefs get upset when you call people that just cook chefs. They get really upset. But anyway, congratulations to Heady One and his lovely fiance, Rookie. Lastly, Natalie Barnett, who is the CEO of the Girl Spot Gym, is being cooked online. So basically, let me give you guys some history. So she is a lovely British fitness babe who is building, actually. She's actually in the works now, which is so nice. A women's only gym. So she announced this, I think, like a few years back and whatnot. And of course, throughout the time of her announcing it, she's always been getting cooked about why do you want to create a women's only space? Why do you want to create a women's only space? And it's so funny because there's obviously some weirdo men who are in the comments like, we need to create a men's only gym then. Yeah, no one's arguing that. Go forth, multiply, go forth and create that. Like, that's okay. You're fine to do that. It's like, you know, people say stuff like that. They say it as if that's meant to get you angry. Like, that's meant to get a woman angry. Go forth. I wish you would. Anyways, so she is doing all of that stuff and she raised money at the time also. So she had a GoFundMe. Of the money, I believe Gymshark contributed the most, which was £20,000, I believe. And then there was like, I think like £3,000 from the public, right? And then, so she's been working hard to make this happen, doing what she's doing.
Is she a Gymshark ambassador?
No.
Oh, okay.
I think they just liked the initiative that she wanted to do for, what she wanted to do for. So yeah, there was that. And then what happened? Yeah, so she's done all of that, whatever. And during that time as well, she's bought a house. She's had a baby as well. Congratulations to her. But she's bought a house. People then started cooking and saying, oh my gosh, she used the gym money for the house. Mind you, do you know how weird people are online? It's not money you contributed. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, it's not as if like I contributed money, then I saw her have a house, and I'm like, oh my gosh, did you use my money? The comments will come from people that did not contribute to that.
Question.
Yes.
Two things. First of all, you seem to have a problem with people commenting on whether she may have used the money that they didn't contribute to something that they think that she wasn't supposed to use it for.
Yeah.
If you're in church and the pastor is caught using the funds for lavish living.
Yeah.
Bear in mind, you've attended this church. Not that you're giving in tithes and whatnot. You just attended this church and this is what you found out. Would you complain about that?
I would, because I go to the church. But these people have first of all, when she had the idea for the gym,
even
they criticized
if you didn't go to the church and you were sat here commenting on this story.
Yeah, but I'm sat here commenting on this story. Yes. Because it would be my job to comment on it, wouldn't it?
And how about Black Lives Matter funds?
Yeah.
And it is now used. They were in America.
As they were.
In America.
Allegedly.
They used some of the funds to
to buy a pool.
Mansions and that. Not just a pool, like mansions.
Yeah, they should be criticized.
And even if it is that you didn't donate to it, right?
Yes, but the thing is though, for me, it's weird if white racists who are against Black Lives Matter are then the ones who are lighting the torches for the person who misused the Black Lives Matter funds. Yeah, that's weird. Because you didn't contribute to it. You don't even believe in the cause they're doing. You criticize the cause the entire time. So why are you so excited now to criticize that? That was my issue with it, because it's not as if you're supportive of the gym she's building. It's not as if you've supported her on this journey. You were just excited. You've cooked her every chance you get. Now you're excited that you get another thing to cook her for. And I find stuff like that hypocritical, because you don't actually care you don't care that the funds may have been misused.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean? So if I'm criticizing another church that has the pastor was stealing or whatever, it's because I'm part of Christ's family. I'm part of the kingdom. And what you're doing, hallelujah.
Sensational.
Why would you use that one for Christ?
Sensational.
You're crazy.
Sensational.
You're actually crazy.
Second question though.
Yes.
How do we know that the people that you saw tweeting that didn't actually donate?
Because you can't, if you believe in something, the people's GoFundMe that I've contributed to, I've made a point to like share it or whatever. Like if I contribute to something, I will make a point to speak positive of it. It makes no sense for you to spend money on something. And to be fair, the people are weird.
And speak negatively?
Yes, people are weird.
It's misappropriated.
People are weird.
100%.
People are
That's
weird.
not being weird.
But then, no, it is weird.
No, if you...
No, it's weird for you. No. What I'm saying is, it's weird for you to contribute towards a cause, but then go online and speak negatively about that cause. That's what I'm talking about.
If misappropriation is now
Forget before misappropriation.
Okay.
I'm talking about I'm saying the people that were cussing her, whatever, were people that had a track record of cussing her from the beginning anyway.
Yes.
So there's no way that they would have been one of the people that contributed.
Yes.
And so them calling it out now is because they care about where their funds have went. You
Yes.
never contributed to it. You never believed in the vision.
Yeah.
So it is weird for you to be speaking negatively about that, but also it would be weird. I can't assume that you didn't contribute
Yes.
because you've spoken negatively about this from inception.
Yes.
So it would be weird if it was a thing where you do believe there should be a women's only gym.
Yes.
You do believe in her vision. You've contributed to that vision,
Yes.
but you spent your entire time not promoting that, but
Yes.
speaking against it.
All right, cool. I agree with what you're saying because I understand what you're saying. Right?
Yeah.
Here's another take. Is it Derek Jackson, the guy who was there?
Helmet of Salvation.
Yeah, that's the fella, right? So obviously he was promoting a particular thing.
Yes.
Just like Dr. Umar's promoting a particular thing.
Yeah.
Right? You don't expect him to be getting caught doing things that he is advocating against.
Yes.
Right? Cool. And then me talking about T&B and how we are doing what we're doing to basically progress the black community, blah, 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 blah. I can basically understand anybody being critical if I turn around and stay this particular place in a position in which it is.
Yeah.
It's counter to what I've been saying.
Yeah, that's fair. But then
even if they haven't looked to basically be investors, because they're watching and consuming from afar, right? Every single person who likes the video or just watches the video, they're supporting in some form of fashion.
But again, you're conflating things. That's somebody that supports the vision. That's someone that supports TMB. They might not have contributed,
There are
but that's
people
okay.
who I don't even know if they
That's
support
fair.
because they like. They might be hate watching.
That's fair. But it will be different if you see people that have gone out of their way to fully talk about how TMB is going to be shit. It's not going to happen. They're just trying to do this. They're trying to do all that stuff. It will be different if you see those people coming to the front to cook you.
100%.
Why are you loud? What have you,
Why are you loud?
And I think for me, it's the hypocritical thing because you just want any excuse to cook me anyway. Because even when there was nothing to cook, you would cook me.
Fair.
So that's why those are the people that I'm cussing.
Fair. Let's get into the meat and bones of it.
Let's please.
Come
let's
on,
get
because
into it. So, anyways,
crazy.
right? In 2021, someone asked her if I don't even know if someone asked her whatever it was, but she basically tweeted saying, respectfully, if you have a problem with trans women attending my gym, then you can find another gym to train at. I have discussed this several times before. Trans women are women and also a minority that need to be protected. Please keep your transphobia away. Right.
I need you to understand, I need everybody to understand, back in just the other day,
2021.
Just the other day,
yes,
she said trans women are women.
Yes.
Right? So I understand the fury from the trans community. I understand the fury from the cishet community because she made a stand.
Yes.
Right? So when she's now put out that she's going to open up a gym,
yes,
100% she'll be getting support from both communities.
Absolutely.
Right?
Everybody. Yeah.
And is expectancy to not hear what she has now come to say.
Maybe we should get you just play the video actually.
Aha.
Let's do that.
Come on.
So recently, actually, while you load it up, she's been getting asked a lot whether the gym is trans women are still welcomed at the gym, and it's been like a minute now. People have been asking, and now here's a response.
Here's the response.
In 2021, 4 years ago, I made a tweet, and the tweet referenced my women's only gym, the Girl Spot, and being trans inclusive. Now, when I made that tweet in 2021, I had just announced my plans to open a women's only gym. I hadn't thought out the vision or the mission or what it would entail, but all I knew is that I wanted to open a gym. We are now 4 years later, and I've had a great deal of time to figure that out. The Girl Spot Gym exists as a safe space for women because women are facing gym harassment, sexual assault, and sexual violence inside of gyms. And I know that because I'm a victim of it. So the meaning of the Girl Spot Gym is now entirely different. And I say this to say that whilst we are a gym, inside we are focusing on self-defense classes, Muay Thai, boxing classes, as well as workshops and activations around PCOS and training on your menstrual cycle, all of which occur to biological women. Majority of the women who are seeking my women's only gym, the Girl Spot, are coming here because they have faced some level of gym intimidation or sexual violence and assault that has been perpetrated by men. So as the owner of the gym, it is very important to make it clear how my women's only gym will be operating, and it will be operating as a single-sex space for biological women. Now, we do believe that everybody deserves a safe space, and there are many gyms that are starting to have mixed cubicles and changing rooms so that individuals can feel safer and more included in these environments. But the Girl Spot Gym as a standalone is a female-only gym. because it is imperative that I stick to the vision and the mission and ensure that these women feel safe.
Well. That's funny. So obviously, yeah. So she's obviously put that video
Discord
out.
is open, people. We're only taking 5-minute calls. As in, not you're gonna speak for 5 minutes. We're gonna leave it open for 5 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Because Esther,
Brent.
This is why I wanted Gina here today, because mate.
Yeah.
Mate.
Do you know if you're watching, girl? Is there a chance?
Why is she backtracking?
Do you know what it is? It's definitely a backtrack. That cannot be denied. But I think the way I am seeing it as well is that before she actually started getting her hands dirty doing, and not literally, but like now that the works are happening for the gym, now that the gym is now a reality, it's like, okay, how do I say this without being disrespectful? So basically, when she said, this is how I'm seeing it, it's not what she said, this is just this is my assumption of why it is that she's changed, is that when she said that 4 years ago, it was not wishful thinking, but it's like, this is what I want. I want my gym to have this. It's like her saying, oh my gosh, they're going to be 50 classes, there's going to be this, just making all these promises. But when the logistics of it now has shown up, when it's time, when like she's paying for things and you're thinking, now you're having to actually sit down and think about the logistics of the gym and how this works, and pen to paper now, you're having to rethink some things. So
what is she rethinking? And what logistics are you talking about? Are you talking about the combat training that's going to be going on in there?
So with what she said is that a lot of the things she wants her gym to focus on are things that affects biological women. Is things like being, like obviously having PCOS or whatever and the effects of that. It's having like training, I guess tailoring trainings or whatever to when you're like to the phases of your menstrual cycle. It's a lot of things that's going to educate biological women about the biologies of their bodies.
My question is this predicament, this dilemma that she's put herself in.
Conundrum.
Then she should be opening the doors to trans men.
No.
Trans women?
So I saw...
Which is the one that used to be and then...
Used to be women or used to be men?
So the new gen men.
So trans men.
Trans men.
So the reason why I will say no is because I saw this a line a lot where people are saying, oh, well, so trans men can then come, but they don't identify as women.
So it's about what they identify as?
No, because it's a women-only gym. Right, so you're a woman. In my mind, there's two phases to it. It's a women's only gym. That's first, right? You identify as a woman. Second part of it is, are you a biological woman?
I've got the solution.
Right? So wait. So by that reasoning, women who are trans men now, of course you can't come in there because you're a man. You say you're a man. So of course you can't come in there. You know when...
so they're picking and choosing when to listen. All right,
yeah, it's irritating.
I have the solution.
What's the solution?
2 floors.
What?
I have 2 floors.
Have you got 2 floors money?
She should be able to get some investment to get
like she did.
Floor.
You know how long that GoFundMe was open for?
Cut it in half.
Well, this is all Moses and the baby thing.
Cut it in half, right? Because this...
Do you know what it is? I think what's annoying as well is that people are watching it and they're saying, oh, what? So obviously she's saying that she wants to protect women, biological women, let's just say biological women for the sake of what the gym is allowing now. Biological women who may have dealt with SA, harassment, all that kind of stuff, blah, 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 blah. And people are saying, what? So trans women haven't dealt with that. Nobody's saying that. She hasn't said that. 2 things can be true. So she's not saying that trans women don't deal with stuff like that. She even goes on to say that they also deserve a safe space. So I don't get... You can't conflate that. You can't say that because she wants to keep biological women safe, it means that everybody else doesn't go through the struggles. It means that... It's like when we talk about women's issues and men are like, yeah, but men also do this. It's like, yes, we know that. But the conversation that's being had now and the solutions that's being created are for the women that are dealing with that. There can also be spaces and solutions created for men that are dealing with that. And I think that's basically what she's saying.
It's not what you identify as, it's what you're biologically.
Yes, but it's what you're biologically and also what you identify as. Because
So
then,
it's two.
did you listen to me when I just said that there was two phases to this?
Yeah.
What did I say?
But what? No, you did say exactly what you said. But
Yeah, no, you didn't
the
hear.
pickle is that in 2021, which is yesterday, she said a trans woman is a woman.
Yeah.
And that's what they identify as. When they
Yeah,
walk
but
in and say,
she's
"I'm
not
a
saying
woman."
that she's not saying they're men though. She's still saying they're women, but she's saying that my gym is for biological women.
Yeah, she's saying that they're not biological.
But they're
And
not.
If that's, yeah, I know. But
Okay.
So that's why I said about the trans men.
Yeah, but then again, as a trans man, who you're now saying you're a man, why would you want to be in a women's only gym? You're not a woman. You don't identify as a woman, so why would you want to be in there?
To be honest, their normal inclination wouldn't be to go there.
Yes, because why would you want to go there? You're not.
suppose
You
they-
say you're not a woman.
Yeah, fair. So they wouldn't even look to. I was about to say darken their doorway. Can you imagine that stupid? Forget that.
I can't imagine my mind doing
They
like that.
wouldn't even look to enter the
Yeah.
premises because they stand by what it is that they stand
Mm-hmm.
by, right? And I guess that question is asinine, even to
Yeah.
say that, because why would they find themselves there? So I'm also curious, right? A lot of cishet
Women.
am I saying it right? Cishet,
Yes.
cishet women are
So it
really
reminds me of
getting onto her.
Yeah, but
They're really getting onto her.
I can't tell you why I think that is.
Is it because they're jealous?
No.
Oh, because they're no,
I think that if you don't want to go to someone's gym and because you don't feel like because you want to stand in solidarity with trans women, you are you're absolutely within your rights to do that. But there will be women who are glad that the gym is for biological women.
I think it'll be supported.
I think
I just think there'll be campaigners outside all the time, innit?
But I think
placards and that.
Yeah, but I think to paint it as
Transphobia.
I think that's very wild. And again, because she's not saying that my opinions have changed. She says that they also need to have a safe space, but she can't be that safe space for them. And I don't understand why it is that when someone's doing one thing, again, it's that mentality of one leader, one person who comes up with a solution. Create a trans women gym then. They will feel safest in there. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like you can't if she's saying I don't have the capacity to create a safe space for trans women, why is all the pressure on this one girl to be the one to solve all women's problems, all women's issues?
I think mostly.
it's silly.
I think mostly it's because of what she said in
Absolutely,
in
and that's fine, but then-
2021, and obviously when people feel as though they are being discriminated against, they're going to basically look to speak up. Do you understand?
Absolutely, and that's fine. People can speak up however much want to speak up or whatever the case is, and I hope she's okay. I hope she's not reading into it, and I hope she does. If that's what she wants her gym to be, and that's what she has the capacity to do, then I hope she does do that, and I wish her all the best and all the success with it. But I think that, like, for me, if for me, I don't believe trans women have the same struggles that I have as a biological woman. They don't, and I'm not saying that trans women, like, as a trans woman, and I'm not saying one is greater than the other. I'm not doing struggle Olympics, but we don't have the same struggles, right? So if there's a space that attends to my struggles, it might not be the space that then accommodates your struggles as well, and that's okay, because there are going to be spaces that accommodate trans women's struggles and may not accommodate mine. That is okay, but I don't think it should be a thing where she's branded as not for women because she doesn't have the capacity to create a safe space for another gender. Is it gender? Yeah, I think it's gender.
I wonder if this is just unique to women.
Yeah.
Because I don't see men looking to complain about this amongst themselves.
I think the only thing that the men who care about these things will do is just them being bigoted, but then they're bigoted towards biological women and trans women. They're bigoted to women. If you say you're a woman, they're gonna be sick. They're gonna be weirdos, and that's the thing. And I think I don't know. I'm not gonna say what I want to say, to be fair, but I don't understand. My thing is, if you don't want to go to the gym because you feel like she's not accommodating your sisters in trans, but your trans women sisters, then that's okay. Your trans sisters. Oh, I like that one actually. Trans sisters. That's okay.
Well, there's
That's
already
okay.
a word called transistor.
Is that actually trans sister?
A transistor, yeah.
What's that?
It's like a electrical component.
Oh well.
Trans sister.
Trans women
But no,
sisters.
keep it because.
What do you know what I mean? I think it's
obviously
words of the
repurposing
tongue
it.
quite well.
We remix everything. We're even talking about a remix right now.
Well, there you go.
Come on.
Yo, Mark, I just cut what you said.
No, too late. Keep it moving.
But I just think, it is what it is. Because also,
I was talking about the soul food, the full circle.
Yeah, of course.
It's all connected.
It's all connected.
Just point out connections in the show.
All connected. But yeah, like, I don't think she's saying that trans women are not women, but trans women are trans women. Again, the experiences are different. The life they live is different.
She didn't say that though. She said trans women are women, not trans.
Yeah, that's what she said back in 2021.
Women.
It's fair.
Yesterday it was 2021. That's how she got the money for the gym because
and that's the thing. That's what's annoying because whatever. I'm not. It's not my gym. It's not my thing.
But you'd support it if it.
Of course, I would.
Near you. Cool.
If it was near me, I would go to it. If offered things I want, and blah blah blah. Then I would absolutely. But I do believe that the reason why she wanted to do this was to create a safe space for women.
Yeah.
Right. And if she says that these are the women that, if she says that, you know what, my gym is only for women who have dealt with domestic violence.
Yeah.
She's allowed to do that.
100%.
She's allowed to do that. If that's what she wants to do, then she's allowed to do that. What I also didn't like there was people quoting and saying, "Oh, this goes against the Equality Act 2010," and they're like, but you know what? I don't like when people phrase things as if they're trying to look out for you, but at the same time they're putting you in a place where people who hate on you can then use that.
Yeah.
So people were saying, "Oh, you might want to check with lawyers because this actually goes against the Equality Act," and then they screenshot how it does go against and blah blah blah. So if I did ask ChatGPT, and if she can prove to the courts why it is important for her to just have biological women in there, then she's good to go.
All right.
I think she'll be good to go. I don't see the gym not opening because of this personally.
Good morning, babes.
Who is
what
this?
What we saying?
Who's speaking to?
Hate to make a very quick return.
That's the only person that.
Oh, morning, girl. How are you? Again.
Good morning again. Understand how you don't see how this is like low key anti-women and very much transphobic.
Talk to us.
Like, you said that I can understand if her concern with the whole trans women thing is that like opening the potential for the biological women who was her initial target audience to feel threatened with the potential of sexual assault, no matter how low that risk might be. But where I start to disagree is when you say, okay, trans men are also not allowed, when by her own definition, trans men are biological women.
But did they
so why then would they not? But we didn't use that question when she was, the trans women are identifying as women. So that doesn't matter.
What do you mean?
If the trans men, if the trans women identify as women, and you're not allowing them into the gym because biologically they're not women, but the trans men are biologically women and they can't attend that gym because they identify with being men. Okay, but you denied the trans women who identify with being women.
Yeah, but you know
so
what is?
That is in turn transphobic.
The reality is that
if biological women who are trans men can benefit from the health coaching that you're offering that caters to biological women, why then would you turn them away? That's the argument of transphobia.
When she said that it's a women's only gym, right? For women who are biological women. I don't know in what world a trans man would want to go to a women's only gym because you don't identify as a woman anyway. Like in terms of the yes,
but let me finish
speaking. You were a biological woman, but where you are at now is you're a man. Why would you be going to the gym? Why would you be going to a women's only gym? You don't fit the description of women's only. You're not a woman. You're a man.
But the same reason that women might feel the same way that she can argue that the biological women, that particular gym is a safe space for women because of the threats that are presented to them in mixed gender gyms, could be a similar experience to someone who's a trans man, but biologically they still have parts of a woman, and that might, when it comes to sexual assault, that's still a risk.
That
so
makes
to
sense.
them, that's a safe space.
That makes sense. But then from what she said as well, part of the reason was because of the type of classes and stuff that they will be offering. A biological, a trans man
still
wouldn't
menstruates.
need those classes. They wouldn't benefit from those classes.
A trans man still menstruates.
Yeah, that's fair, but they wouldn't benefit from the classes because that wouldn't be the things that they're working on.
But you mentioned specifically that one of the topics that you wanted to talk about was menstruation.
No,
That's
she said she
applicable
wanted
to
to
experience.
train, PCOS, and then also menstruation. She said, I think it was to do with like tailoring workouts, like basically how you can work out during the different phases you are in your menstrual cycle and stuff.
Right, and trans men still experience menstrual cycles and also work out. So wouldn't they then still benefit from
Okay, then
that
you know what?
resource?
Trans men, welcome to you. Go to the gym.
But that's the point that we're
for
trying
me,
to
I feel
say.
like not insulting you, but in this conversation, saying that so you're not allowing in trans women, but you're basically allowing trans men, when she did not say in the video that trans men are also welcome. For me, I find it's just me. I can't make sense of it. I think it's obtuse. I think it's a very silly form of argument, and I see it the same way as when people say we're working on this women's issue, and men are like, men go through it too. Okay, but we're working on this women's issue now. So I'm not going to go back and forth with it because we're not going to get to an understanding, because I don't understand it and I don't actually want to understand it, and that's okay. But Maggie also says maybe this might help me. Maggie says, I think the argument is null, as I don't think trans men are wanting to occupy women only spaces. I don't think. This is what I'm trying to say. I don't understand how, like, I get you saying trans men were biologically or are biological women or whatever the case might be. However, that's not how they live.
But that goes back to what I'm trying to say. So
why would a trans man be like, okay, well, trans women, I'm gonna take myself as a trans man into a gym that's women's only gym? Like,
but that's what I was trying to circle back to. The what we're trying to say is she's not being consistent in in what she's allowing or considering women. And the point of bringing trans men up was solely to say that she's being inconsistent with the trans women thing. Because if you're saying that trans women who identify with being women can't come because they're not biological women, then are you saying that trans men can come because they are biological women?
But she didn't mention, she didn't bring men into the equation, because the gym, the people that would want to attend the gym are women, and there'll be trans women, right? So those are people that I'm going to address, because no trans man has shown interest in attending the gym.
But we're pointing out the context in how it's probably going to be difficult for her to to enforce this rule, because if you're not being consistent in what you're defining as a woman, who's to say there isn't somebody who might benefit, a trans man? I don't come from this community. I'm just making an example to point out the fallacy and the inconsistency in what she's defining as a woman. Who's to say that somebody who is a trans man, who might have PCOS, who might be dealing with menstruation as a trans man, who might feel for some reason, I don't know, their own personal reason, that a woman's only gym might be safer for them, despite their choice to identify with being a trans man. If they want to express interest in going to that gym, are you going to deny them? And that's a question that might be fair for them to ask. How does she plan to enforce that if you're saying that the qualifications are to be a biological woman? They are a biological woman. They identify with being a trans man, but you're saying, I can't go here because I don't identify as being a woman. But the people who identify with being a woman are also being turned away because they're not biological women like I am, who scientifically benefit from the things that you're preaching more than that of, which is not to compare who's more of a woman, but in scientifically benefit from what it is that you're proposing. It's inconsistent. That's the argument, not who wants to go. It's the inconsistency in her definition.
So essentially, Esther, she is saying that she should have come to me to write the statement, because
you'd be more detailed.
There are gray areas, there are little gaps where one could say, but if you're going with that verse, then this should be allowed. You understand? Thank you very much, Stacey.
Thanks, Stacey.
No problem.
Hey, Stacey. Hey, everyone. Hey, yes.
Morning, Eddie.
Morning.
What are your views, bro? 10 seconds.
What's your thoughts?
I agree with you, Esther, 100%.
You said that while Stacey's gone now, so he could basically just give all of his support to you.
You're so ridiculous.
Eddie, you're the best, man.
Thanks, Eddie.
Thanks.
Have a nice day.
You too.
I need to get his a songbite of Eddie on the
sound. It would actually be interesting to hear what to hear Gina's thoughts. I just think, I don't know, man. I just feel like if if you want a safe space and you're told that space is not for you, find somewhere else.
Here goes
But this
Maggie.
is my...
Look.
But this is how I live. Maggie says, I think we should hear from a trans man. Otherwise, we are speaking on other people.
Damn it, can we not have make our own thoughts known?
I don't
Do we
want to
have
hear
to
from a
wait
trans man.
until a trans man comes?
Do you know I don't want to hear from a trans
because
man?
he might not have what you think is the opinion for all trans men.
I don't want to hear trans man, because chances of a trans man telling me he wanted to go to the girls only spot. What's the gym called? The gym's girls spot. The girls only spot. What's it called? The girls spot.
Girls spot.
Chances of a trans man telling me that he wants to go to the girls spot gym is rather slim. I tell you that for free.
What's he going to contribute to this conversation?
I don't understand how.
Sorry. Yeah. What's he going to 100%? I did it right.
You did it right.
Come on.
You did it right. Your heart intended and you did it. I don't understand how saying that she said these are the women she wants in here means that automatically trans men can now start applying to attend. Like, everybody's silly. And then also people are asking how it is that she's going to enforce this. Don't people carry IDs? Have you people never signed up for a gym before? They scan your IDs, they check your IDs. So obviously if he has on there previously male.
But that's a question I asked I think last year. Should they walk around with tags or some identification
No,
to say?
mug.
The only reason why I asked that question at the time is because we had read a story about somebody dating somebody.
Yeah.
And like they didn't tell them.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, but that's not right. In my head, that's not right.
Yeah.
But maybe I am antiquated. I'm living in caveman times. You get me?
Some people ask.
Beating chest.
Some people ask these questions, but when you do sign up to gyms, they do ask you for your ID, and your ID will say it does have your your sexuality, has your. I don't know if they ask you that, to be fair, but it will have your gender. And if you were previously male, it will say. If you're previously female, it will say. So.
Did what I just say, was that transphobic? Me saying that before you look to lip somebody, you should tell them.
Think you should complete the sentence.
No, but this is a
necessarily.
real life scenario.
If that's how you want to date, that's how you want to date.
As in, how do you mean?
If you feel like before you lips anybody, you want to ask them personally, then you're within your rights to do that.
In, shouldn't they divulge, like, who they are?
Some people do, but then maybe you haven't gotten there yet. If you're doing a one-night stand, I don't think you might not get to that point. People never do.
This is
some people have sex with people that don't know their last names.
So that's what I'm saying. Was what I said transphobic? I'm looking to basically, put myself in the chair.
I wouldn't say so, but I don't know if you want to look to me to tell you whether or not it's transphobic, because I may have been transphobic over this food conversation.
But to be honest, I have like conflicting thoughts. Like some days, I think we should all lean into just being labeled as transphobic, so that it dulls the effect of it.
You can't dull the effect.
And other days I'm like, nah, we shouldn't, because then when people are actually being transphobic and dangerous to trans people, then to be
honest, I even think stuff like this. I think it actually even protects trans women, to be fair, because I saw someone say that all this. Well, I'll tell you, but all this does is just puts cishet women at greater risk because some of them look manly.
Huh?
It's also so stupid takes. Talk about, you brought up PCOS. There's people that are like muscular, people that have visual facial hair. Okay. And then so even with that, because you might even have biological women who are transphobic, and now you got some. This is why I say that perhaps the girl doesn't have the capacity to actually provide a safe space for trans women in the way that they need a safe space. The things that trans women go through is horrible. It's absolutely horrible. The sexual assault, the physical assault, the verbal assault, like they go through a lot, and they deserve to have a safe space for them where they won't be attacked, where they won't be made fun of, they won't be made to feel uncomfortable. I can understand that. And if she doesn't have the capacity for that, I respect her for saying, I don't have the capacity to do that, than her putting these poor women in these positions where then it's now dangerous all over, and now it's just a whole mess. Ed says, I'm tired. Literally, if you've been trans for more than a couple years, you're legally allowed to change gender on documents, and it won't be labelled as trans or previously, just male or female. Fair enough then. I don't know how she will go about this. She did say she's contacted legal, so maybe they have a plan. I don't know. I'm not the gym owner. I'm not the CEO. I'm not even a gym goer. I'm not her gym goer.
Have you got any more Winning Road?
That's it, man.
All right. So tomorrow we are going to do all of the asking for a friend. Don't you worry. All those who sent them in, we will
I can't
tackle
believe
them
this,
tomorrow.
It's 11 o'clock, Brent.
We'll tackle them tomorrow. We'll just breeze through the last headlines and then we will end the show. There's no wrap up.
Because you should have paid attention to know what we're talking
120%. 120%. Let me just see. Where is the headline?
Ciao.
There we go. $1.75.
That's 1.75.
Go.
Oh. A man has been charged after climbing up the tower of Big Ben, the Metropolitan Police has said. Daniel Day, who's age 29, of Palmerston Road, Westcliff-on-Sea, Essex, faces charges of intentionally or recklessly causing a public nuisance and trespassing on a protected site. Police were called to reports of a man climbing up Elizabeth Tower at 7:24 a.m. on Saturday. The man was carrying a Palestinian flag and remained barefoot on a ledge for more than 16 hours before being lifted to the ground in a cherry picker just after midnight. That's commitment.
16 hours is a long
16
time.
hours is a long ass time. Barefoot? I don't think he
flag.
was able to have snacks on there. It's crazy. Westminster Bridge was forced to close to traffic during the morning as tourists in central London stood around watching the spectacle. Police said specialist officers worked with the fire brigade to bring this incident to a close as quickly as possible whilst minimising risk to life. Day will appear at Westminster Magistrates Court later today. Free Daniel Day. Next one, trigger warning. Trigger warning, odd murder. So take a second if you need to tune out. Mute this. A 32-year-old man has been charged with the murder of 16-year-old Nathaniel Borrell, shot dead near Stockwell Tube Station in South London on Tuesday. Omar Premper is alleged to have attacked Nathaniel in Paradise Road. He was charged on Saturday, the Metropolitan Police said. Officers were called at around 3:21 p.m. on Tuesday to the incident, despite the efforts of paramedics from the London Ambulance Service and London's Air Ambulance. Nathaniel was pronounced dead at the scene. That's horrible. Premper of Stansted Road, Forest Hill, South London, was arrested in Croydon on Friday morning and will appear at Bromley Magistrates Court on Monday. Today, the MP for Vauxhall and Camberwell Green, Florence Eshalomi, shared her condolences on social media. I'm very sad to hear of the fatal shooting of a 16-year-old boy earlier this afternoon near Stockwell. A life wasted, she said. Miss Eshalomi added she had spoken to the police about the incident and encouraged anyone with information to get in touch with the police. And our last headline for today: meat, dairy and sugar grown in a lab could be on sale in the UK for human consumption for the first time within 2 years from now, sooner than expected. The Food Standards Agency, FSA, is looking at how it can speed up the approval process for lab-grown foods. Lab-grown foods are grown into plant or animal tissue from tiny cells. This can sometimes involve gene editing to tweak the food's properties. The claimed benefits are that they are better for the environment and potentially healthier. Potentially. The government is keen for lab-grown foods firms to thrive because it hopes they can create new jobs and economic growth. UK firms have led the way in the field scientifically, but feel they have been held back by the current regulations. Dog food made from meats that was grown in factory vats went on sale in the UK for the first time last month. In 2020, Singapore became the first country to authorize the sale of cell-cultivated meat for human consumption, followed by the United States 3 years later, and Israel last year. However, Italy and the US states of Alabama and Florida have instituted bans. The FSA is to develop new regulations by working with experts from high-tech food firms and academic researchers. It says it aims to complete the full safety assessment of 2 lab-grown foods within the 2-year process it is starting. That is all our headlines for today. It's time to pay some more bills. Thank you for tuning into the show. We have hit 6K. We'll talk about it tomorrow, but thank you very much for subscribing. Please like the shows, like the video, subscribe to the channel, all that great stuff. We've got a lovely guest host tomorrow. I'm very excited for him to come through. And yeah, we'll see you tomorrow. God bless. Goodbye.